Batman.
I've seen him on talk shows being like, oh, what do you feel about all these different versions of Batman that have happened since you left or whatever? And he's like, oh, the truth of it is like, and he leans in, he's like, I'm Batman. And then people are like, whoa.
Welcome to the Crooked Table Podcast, where we discuss the world of film from a fresh angle. And now your host, Robert Yaniz Jr.
Welcome to the Crooked Table Podcast. This is Rob.
And this is Kai.
On this show, we normally democratize the film criticism conversation by bringing on fans and critics alike to talk about a current or classic release. But this episode, we're doing another Crooked commentary. This will be going up soon after the big day of very bittersweet Batman-related news. And also was our first episode back after a few months. So I guess we should touch base. Kai, how have you been dealing with the world, coronavirus and protests and all of which, obviously we're in support of the Black Lives Matter movement and all of that, just to throw that out there, not related to Batman, but kind of feels silly to not mention that the reality of the situation. So Kai, how are you doing with all this?
It's been hard. It's been 3 months of self-isolation for United States. And, we live in Florida and it's been reopening like crazy. Like I feel like we're on phase 6 and that's not even a phase. But meanwhile, we're still staying home. And actually I think at least I am kind of getting accustomed to being home. Like now I don't expect myself to go anywhere. I miss places, but it's now been accepted this is kind of life. And the protests have been hard. Some of the bad protests have been happening in the city that we live in, and and where we live is now on mandated masks. So I'm happy about that because that should have happened a while ago. And just really kind of dealing, and still, I'm still a parent. I'm still working full time.
That's good to know. You're still a parent.
I'm still working full time.
Child hasn't run away yet.
I'm still a wife, and so just because we still have our lives, and it doesn't stop, thankfully. Well, that has a lot of different. You could read into that in many different ways, but yeah, just really kind of hustling. And I actually have a birthday at the time of this recording tomorrow, so that's exciting. And so this movie that we're gonna talk about came out really close to my birthday, 25 years ago.
Right, exactly. So just as we were actually talking about doing a Batman Forever Crooked commentary and posting it in September for Batman Day, which is like September 21st, I think, or something like that. But
any reason why? Is that when it premiered? Like
why that's Batman Day? That's DC has been like, this is Batman Day. It's a big promotional thing, every marketing gimmick every year for Batman.
I gotta find it out on Wikipedia.
Oh, maybe it's when the first Batman appearance was published, whatever, something like that. And then Kai had the idea after all this Batman news, yesterday or 2 days ago?
Like 2 days ago, yeah.
2 days ago as of this recording, that we should just do that as soon as possible and get it posted before our announced June 30th relaunch of, the hiatus was not planned at first. Life was busy.
Yeah, how are
day
you
job,
dealing with everything? Freelance
work, parenting. I'm still a husband. I'm still a father. I'm still a parent. Then all of this happened. The cases of COVID-19 started spiking. The Black Lives Matter protests and everything kind of civil unrest kind of, rose up. And then I was like, maybe it's better. I don't really know if I feel like talking about movies. But isn't this Batman movie weird? Like in the midst of all this.
That's
so let's extend that a little bit longer. So it was an unintentional hiatus that became an intentional hiatus is what I like to say. So
that's the first time I've heard you say that.
Oh, I've tweeted it. You don't follow me on social media, I guess.
No, I do follow you. I just don't go on social media.
I appreciate your support, air quotes, question mark, which is the question mark is very in keeping with this movie also. So 2 days ago, the news came, unfortunately, that Joel Schumacher passed away at the age of 80, the director of countless movies, including the one we're about to talk about, The Lost Boys and The Client and Falling Down, a personal favorite of Kai's, Phone Booth, and The Phantom of the Opera, and a lot of like Flatliner, St. Elmo's Fire, like a lot. He did a lot more movies than I think people
He
realize.
had quite a range. I like St. Elmo's Fire.
He was
as
all
well.
over the place, his movies. And, I saw all the headlines of people being like, oh, Joel Schumacher, director of Batman films. I was like, oh, man. That's why I posted, I think, on the Cricket Table Facebook page. Like, don't just like pigeonhole this guy as he was the Batman guy, especially since these movies don't have nearly a very... They have a shitty reputation, basically, especially Batman and Robin. And there's a reason we're talking about this one and not Batman and Robin, and it's not just the 25th anniversary. So I thought it made sense to bring this up per Kai's suggestion, in keeping with sort of a tribute to Joel Schumacher, because
I really like when you take my suggestions.
Yeah, I know you do. And I give you public credit for them too. This is the Batman movie of his that I think Kai and I, we were both 12 when we saw this. We both have birthdays coming up. Actually, we were both about to turn 12 when we saw this, technically. Yep, because both of our birthdays are at the end of June. And this came out in the summer of 1995. So the Joel Schumacher thing happened. And then later the same day, the internet exploded when The Wrap, I believe, broke the news. And then every other major trade publication, The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, blah, 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 all picked it up, that Michael Keaton is in talks, in heavy, in negotiations to return as Batman for the DCEU, for the Flash movie, and therefore going forward as like a new mentor to possibly bring in a Batman Beyond movie, to bring in a Batgirl movie, to kind of mentor the next version of whatever the Justice League is going to look like. And to me, I felt that that felt very ironic that the same day that Joel Schumacher, the day that took over after Michael Keaton was like, I don't want to do this, not without Tim Burton, forget it, not worth it. That Joel Schumacher stepped in, the day he dies, they're like, okay, he's gone, now we're going back to Michael Keaton. It felt really weird, the timing of that, and I'm sure that wasn't planned. It's just one of those bizarre cosmic coincidences, I think. So, we were both obviously grew up with Michael Keaton as Batman, so I guess we should spend a couple minutes just, what was your experience, Kai, with Batman Returns, Batman Forever, like the first 3 of the 4 Batman movies from the 90s, the ones that didn't suck? Because I don't think Batman Returns sucks. Like, where do you stand on those first 3? I think we agree Batman and Robin is a hot mess, and not even a fun hot mess.
I don't want to see that again.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even want to do
a commentary on that
a lot of
movie.
people like it in like a kitschy, like so much fun because it's so ridiculous kind of way. I just think it's bad, in my opinion.
And we're not we just don't like to spend our time watching
bad
movies.
We did a commentary on The Room. So,
Okay, well, that's more
I
good,
love
though.
that, but I like that movie a lot.
But sometimes awesomely bad isn't so bad. But
Well,
Batman and Robin isn't awesomely bad to
It
me.
depends who you ask. See, it's you, and I agree with you. But a lot of people...
It's all subjective.
A lot of people were tweeting is like...
What I say is in fact, unfortunately. Michael Keaton is my Batman.
Right.
And I think he'll always be my Batman. I mean, that's the Batman that we grew up on. And I actually don't even remember the first time I even saw Batman, where I was, because, it came out when we were 6.
We're about to be 6, I think. I think it was another June thing.
Yeah, and I don't remember. I don't think I saw the movie there because that's...
I think I did.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I did. I remember
maybe
the poster.
I think I may have seen it at a friend's house after it came out, like on maybe when it was on VHS.
We had it on VHS
I liked
too.
it. And then Batman Returns. I remember seeing Batman Returns for the first time when I lived in Missouri. Like we checked it out at the video store, and I didn't really understand what was going on.
It's
I was
weird.
Like, okay,
It's
I don't know. I was 9 around that time when I saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. It was. And I didn't see it again, I think, until you showed it to me.
Really? Wow.
Years ago. Yeah, it just was like...
It's
was
too
just weird.
dark
I
and
didn't really
heavy
get
and
it.
strange, I think, for small children, which is why Warner Brothers completely overcorrected and went the over-the-top campy route with this movie. And I've seen somebody involved in this franchise, I forget who, some of the producers or writers or something, even said this quote that really stuck with me because it's really how I feel. And they said they really liked Tim's first one, and they really liked their first one. So I think it was somebody involved in the Schumacher movies. But Batman Returns and Batman and Robin have a lot of problems. And I kind of agree with that. Like, I think Batman, the first one, completely nails what Tim Burton was going for with, like, that gothic style, dark, but still kind of dark, like, kind of macabrely playful. This one nails the more, like, bright neon, like, almost like Adam Westy style campiness. but without going so far overboard where you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and when I saw Batman Forever in the movie theater, and I think I did see it in the movie theater, I really enjoyed it.
Me
I
too.
still really enjoy it. It's one of, I mean, I like Batman and I like Batman Forever. Those are I think still, I would say, two of my favorite Batman movies, and that's definitely, I'm biased on that because I know that The Dark Knight is definitely a better Batman film.
The Lego Batman movie,
a good Batman film overall, but these are Batman and Batman Forever, my two favorites. And but no, I agree, and I think maybe with Batman, Tim Burton felt like he had more to prove because, you know, he wasn't a new director. Just clearly had done movies before, but it was like it did have a nice balance of his like weird eccentric style, without going like him kind of getting so into himself that he started going overboard.
Right. Okay. Now you brought it back to where I was gonna say. Like, I don't even think it's that he had more to prove. I think the second one is way more his jam. Like, you've seen other Tim Burton movies. He's all about the like eccentric weirdos, and so his whole thing with the Penguin, where I've never seen a version of the Penguin outside that movie that makes him like basically a mutant. He's just like a gangster in a top hat who like goes wah, 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 and stuff like that. Because he wears suits, I guess they call him Penguin, and he walks with a limp or whatever. And now that we mentioned Penguin, shout out to Robin Lord Taylor from Gotham because he's the best person on that show. He's amazing as Penguin. Yeah, I agree with you. I remember seeing Batman Returns as a kid and coming out of the theater, and my dad and I were like, that was fine. It was kind of disappointing. The best parts were in the trailers, kind of thing. And I think that's because as a 9-year-old, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, he's an
abandoned baby.
Which is it's good. It's good, but it doesn't feel like Batman. It feels like it feels like it belongs in Edward Scissorhands land or something.
But don't people still agree that Michelle Pfeiffer was the best Catwoman?
I mean, I still agree Michelle Pfeiffer was the best Catwoman.
I like all of job too.
Yeah, but Michelle Pfeiffer's better. And I'm hoping that Michelle Pfeiffer comes back now. If Michael Keaton's coming back for a cameo or something in this.
But she can. She's with they're both, never mind. They're both in Marvel.
Yeah, that's true. They're both in the Marvel. Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping that she comes back for something, even if it's a brief, whatever. But yeah, I was really into Batman. I had I still in the garage, I think, had like dusty, gross Batcave playset from 30 years ago. I still have. I showed you and our daughter like the figures that I have from the first movie and all the 4 movies. I even had like some of the Batman and Robin stuff. But yeah, so the first and third were really big for me, video game wise and things like that, which we'll talk about, especially the Jim Carrey of it all. But yeah, I think I wanted to do a commentary on this one because it does get unfairly lumped in with Batman and Robin, where I actually think this is an enjoyable movie. And just, especially now with the timing with Michael Keaton coming back, these movies are getting kind of wiped away from the canon.
So he's pretty sure he's not going back for Vulture, it sounds like.
No, Vulture's still staying in there. Vulture is coming in Morbius. He's supposed to have a cameo there.
How does that
If they
even
do
work?
Sinister Six, they'll probably bring Vulture back.
How does that work if he's going to be doing DC?
He's got to get those
DCEU
He's got to get those checks, man.
I know,
he's like 68 years old.
Do you think that it would like kind of it affects his contracts?
I mean, I think the Vulture is
scheduling.
Vulture is a much more minor role. He'll probably be like cameo, maybe one more supporting role, and then peace out. He's not like Robert Downey Jr.ing it over there. It sounds like he's Robert Downey Jr.ing it over at the other place, or Samuel L. Jackson. And it's funny that he did those 2 Bat movies, and he's like, "Fuck that."
And they're both basically based off of the same idea,
right?
Of a rich playboy.
Well, wait, what?
Iron Man, Batman.
Oh yeah, kind of. But he's he did those 2 Batman movies. He didn't want to come back for the third one. Then he made Birdman and be like, fuck you, superhero movies. Then he joined Spider-Man, and now he's going back to Batman.
I must have really enjoyed being Batman.
He is that, and I agree with you. He is my Batman. That being said, I do love Adam West's version. I do really love Christian Bale's version. I think
it makes me think of Neighbors.
Oh yeah, I'm Batman.
No, they had that debate. No, they had that debate on on what Batman was.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
So it was like, Michael Keaton, and then Zac Efron's was like
Christian Bale. And he's like, and Seth Rogen's like, I'm Batman. And then, Batman, do I look like a god? Yeah.
Don't like that voice.
Yeah, the voice is a little much, but I love Christian Bale's version. But yes, objectively, I think the Batman Begins, Dark Knight are better movies, but I always feel a certain kinship to the Michael Keaton. That being said, George Clooney was a mess, but that wasn't his fault. It was just a terrible movie, and he couldn't save it.
That didn't hurt his career.
No, not at all.
Or his riches.
Right. But I do like Val Kilmer in this movie, and we'll talk about all the crazy shit that happened behind the scenes of this movie. But I feel like we should listen to a little bit of the trailer for this movie. We went longer with that than I meant. So let's listen to a little bit of the trailer for, we haven't even mentioned the name of the movie, have we? For the 1995 movie, Batman Forever.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'll get drive-through. Bruce Wayne. In the flesh. I'm gonna need that handbag.
Yes. My invention beams any TV signal directly into the human brain.
Mind manipulation, tampering with people's brain waves. It just raises too many questions.
I'll send you a riddle.
The Riddler. I will help you solve the greatest riddle of all. Who is Batman?
That was a little bit of the trailer for Batman Forever from 1995, directed by Joel Schumacher. And as I said at the top of the show, this is going to be a crooked commentary. So we're going to watch the full 2 hour and 6 minute movie. I think
That's
it's
how
that
long
long.
it is?
Something like that. Let me see.
You're not thinking of the movie.
No,
we
2
just-
hours and 1 minute. Very close.
Oh, okay. You're
That was
thinking of the
close.
movie we just
I knew it
watched.
was just, what was 2 hours and 6 minutes that we just watched?
Was it Snowpiercer?
Oh, that maybe was. That was good too. And we are on the Warner Brothers Pictures Shield, the classic Shield. I still love when they come up with this old logo. So
When did they change it? Wait, what? It's
they
different now?
updated it. It's
'Cause it's
overly
3D,
stylized
of
and
course,
3D
they
and
had
stuff.
to, be
But this was
consistent with
this
everybody
was. You remember back in the day when they used to do this in the late 80s, early 90s when they even had Bugs Bunny pop out and stuff.
Yeah.
Biting the carrot. So we're on the logo for the Warner Brothers Picture Shield at 0001, and I'm going to press play right now.
That shield actually makes sense for the superheroes.
First thing here, I love. Let's point it out. I'm going to be saying a lot of things. It morphs into. Doesn't it morph? It morphs into the bat
does,
signal.
Yeah.
And then
That's
the
like when movies do that.
and then the fourth one,
So in case you weren't sure what movie you were watching.
right, exactly.
It's a Batman movie.
Well, that was the poster for the Tim Burton first one.
So why is Tim Burton producing this but didn't want to direct it? Or do they not want him to direct it?
I think he didn't want to direct. Well, I don't know. I think he might not. Oh, by the way, I want to talk about the score in a second. I think it was a kind of a combination. I think he wanted to take it a certain way, and they didn't want to take it in that direction. They wanted to lighten it back up
Jim
because
Carrey totally.
Batman Returns, as you
rocks
mentioned,
it.
was not well received. The toys didn't sell well. I think families were like, "What the hell is this?"
Nicole Kidman.
She's just gonna read the names now.
Well, so Nicole Kidman's birthday, we were talking about this the other day. Her birthday was the day before, or the day after this movie came out 25 years ago. She has my sister's birthday. That's why I always remembered. So I believe this came out, June 19th, 1995?
Something like that, yeah. I did want to point out right now, because it's like the focal point of the movie at this point, the Elliot Goldenthal score, which I have on CD still. I actually really, I think so. I really like this score. It's obviously nowhere near as iconic as Tim Burton's, and it does go a little crazy in certain places, little Adam Westy. But I do think that the main theme, the fanfare that was just playing and stuff, is pretty cool. I even like the kind of H.R. Geiger inspired Batmobile here. It's very H.R. Geiger, the guy that designed the Xenomorph from Alien. You can see kind of the spindles and stuff.
Oh, and the thing that I was going to say too about
sorry.
no, that's okay.
Jump in here.
About the cars is that in all of these movies, there's just like different Batmobiles, different like gadgets.
Not always. There's the same one from 1 and 2,
Different
and then
outfit, different.
yes. Well, he's got to keep reading. Yeah, you got to somewhere.
What is it called? It's not a costume. It's
Armor.
I guess it's armor.
They got to sell action figures, Kai. 1, 2. There's a story related reason, at least, for why the Batmobile is different here. The Batmobile, if you may or may not remember, got destroyed in Batman Returns because it
I
got
do
taken
not
over by
remember
Penguin,
that.
and then it had to drop the sides, and it become like a little missile to fit through a thing. So
Oh, there you go. I like Goldenthal right there.
yeah,
Music composed by-
exactly. He's great.
Yeah,
in
so-
this. His score.
So what's interesting about Batman Forever and how it displays Gotham
I have
is
that
does
coin.
it display Gotham as like so bright and like vibrant, and meanwhile, with movies like, Batman and then Batman Begins and then, and even the animated ones, like Gotham really is like so dark and gloomy.
Yeah.
So that was what's interesting about Batman Forever and Batman Robin is that Gotham is not like that.
It's like
it's like a circus.
It's like a 1960s like art pop, like Andy Warhol style shit. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's a lot of people are like, okay, he's borrowing heavily from the Adam West thing, where everything's over the top and kind of ridiculous and like candy colored and shit. Like, look at this dude's face. First of all, Two-Face is not supposed to look like he's like painted purple with like big. Look at this. That's not a design. That's not anywhere near being realistically designed or anything. And granted, they don't need to be. That's the thing. A lot of people rag on
Two-Face is just so.
I know. Well, he has the paper that he holds on his face in the flashback. A lot of people tear into the anything that's taking a different spin on Batman because they're like, well, Batman's supposed to be serious. I'm like, Batman has been everything in the comics at one point or another. The Dark Knight is just as valid as Batman v Superman, which is just as valid as Adam West, which is just as valid as Lego Batman. I mean, that's what I love about the Lego Batman movie, which I feel like I should do a commentary on that at some point. But yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, we'll get to him.
And Nicole Kidman, she's so beautiful in this movie.
The hair, the makeup, what is it?
Yeah, everything, and like her aura, like she's like confident and
yeah, I like how
she's
he's
a doctor and.
Hot entrance.
And Val Kilmer's Batman actually has some of the best lines out of all the Batmans.
Yeah, but wait, you're gonna say some of the silly lines, right?
Yeah, some of the.
But some of the like pure, like serious Batman
God,
people.
he's so serious already. He's like, she's a cool name too.
I know. She's not from the comics, but she should
the
be.
thing about so back to the whole thing about
There's a lot to say now.
about the.
I knew this. This is why I knew this was a good one for a commentary because I'm like, we're gonna be talking over each other a lot.
The dichotomy though of like they're basically feel like two different movies of the four movies. You have the Tim Burton first two, and
100%.
It's like in a way it should have just been do a Batman one again.
They shouldn't have kept Pat Hingle and Michael Gough because they're the only actors that are in all four. I think the only main actors.
They could. I mean, they all
Pat
came
Hingle,
out
Commissioner Gordon,
close within each other, but they're more or less like totally different movies.
They share the same continuity though. Supposedly, she references Catwoman in this and stuff. She says, "Oh, they're doing skin tight vinyl and a whip later on." Yeah, I like him. He's got a great bottom half of his face for Batman. I think he's.
Isn't that what it's about though? The jaw.
Yeah, pretty much, and the voice.
I wonder if she's wearing a wig, or really was her hair.
She's like you're not getting focused.
No.
But like, see, like there's like the Dutch angles. That's the Adam West. That's like some days you just can't get rid of a bomb type shit. I love his suit. It's so crazy. And this is back in the day, kids listening to this. This is back in the day when nobody was like, comic books? Serious? We're going to take this shit seriously?
Oh, look,
Fuck
I think
that.
it's a married couple.
They're cartoons.
That wrote it.
Oh, maybe.
Story by, screenplay by.
Yeah, Tim Burton. I think you do feel his influence here a little. And then once he's not involved whatsoever, that's when Batman and Robin is just like, you're like, what is happening? No, not even slightly.
Maybe that could have reined it in a little bit.
I mean, it might have been. Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze can be done well on the animated series. I should show you. There's an episode called Heart of Ice that's kind of the most famous Mr. Freeze origin story, and I think they took some inspiration for that.
So the machine guns have lights on them. That's cool.
Yeah, well, everything has lights on it in this. That's the thing.
Yeah, it really was like Joel Schumacher's like pet project for Batman.
Yeah,
like I don't feel like any of his films have ever been as vibrant and as like gregarious as this is.
Well, until Batman and Robin.
Right, but what I'm saying,
as his
like
Batmans.
St. Elmo's Fire falling down, they're not like
Right. Well, he gets to like how really kind of play here.
Yeah, it's like takes his version of Batman that he wants to see.
It's really cool it's really cool that you. That's that shot with Batman turning like in surprise. That's that shot from I think the Kiss from a Rose video that I always like to point out.
This has a good soundtrack. Like
yeah,
you
it does.
said.
Well,
you more mentioned the score. You didn't mention the soundtrack.
No, I did not. But I
don't
did
remember
see
any songs from Batman.
I did see
never
Prince,
mind. Just
Party
kidding.
Man, and
Just
Trust.
kidding. I'm just
and,
kidding.
Bat Dance, and I did see a video that Seal posted yesterday or the day that Joel Schumacher passed, talking about how that album came out in 1994, and that song was a single, Kiss from a Rose, and it tanked. It was like 60 and then 80 and then poof, it pieced out. And then Joel Schumacher was like really a fan of Seal, reached out to Seal, wanted him to, present like a love song or whatever for the, a romantic scene with Chase and Bruce Wayne. And Seal was like, I don't have anything. So his agent just sent over Seal's second album, which is also self-titled. He's got like 4 self-titled albums.
That's confusing.
I know. To Joel Schumacher, and kind of marked Kiss from a Rose. Joel Schumacher listened to it, loved it. And so they just took that song off that album and put it on the soundtrack to this. The only thing that they added was the video of him standing in front of the bat signal. And huge song. Seal's by far his most popular single of his career. Made this soundtrack a huge, big seller and
there's
everything.
a lot of people that are like you that like if a song is on a soundtrack, it's like, oh, I
Yeah,
love this.
yeah.
Even if it's been
It's
out
still,
before.
I mean, I'm glad. I may not have noticed the song the same way had it not been attached to Batman. And people listening to this podcast know, or that follow me on social media at all, know I'm obsessed with superhero stuff because I grew up with Batman. Because we were just the right age for these Batman movies when they came out.
Well, one thing you guys don't know is that when I was, me and Rob were courting each other, I was sometimes leaving Batman quotes on his Facebook pictures. Including one.
The chick with the car?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that.
It's the car. I think you just talked about that the other night. What I like about the Two-Face is that his henchmen have two faces.
I know.
Their beanies.
One thing about this scene that I do find annoying is this security guard guy is like, you're taking that's my hearing aid. My shoes are melting. Oh. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, that always drove me nuts. Even as a kid, I think I was like, this guy's annoying.
I mean,
Help.
that's why they're like, you're annoying. Good die.
I mean, but it's like, hang on. See, he's like playing everything. Like, the movie plays everything way big, which is fine. It's a Batman movie. You can do that. It's just there's certain moments where I'm like, oh,
It's got to be better than Vicky Vale screaming.
Oh, yeah, I know. I
all
listened
the
to that
time.
movie the other night, as you know, while I was working. I was like, Jesus Christ, she doesn't shut up.
Yeah, it's the only line that she really has is
Well,
screaming.
should I mention the Me Too thing with Batman? Let's not get into
Let's
that.
not get into
There's a
it.
little bit of that in 1989's Batman that I'm like, hashtag Me Too, Batman. But it was a different time.
Is she in the comics, Chase Meridian?
No, I actually said that a few minutes ago.
Oh, God, sorry.
That's okay. There's a lot going on. That's what I'm saying. We're both drinking alcohol while we watch this, and we both grew up with this movie a lot. This one and the '89 Batman, we had on VHS in my household growing up, and we watched them a lot.
I've seen this movie. I think I've seen this movie more than I saw Batman. Or maybe
It's close for me. I don't know. It's a tough
So what
one.
do you think they were doing? You think they were using like sets, or you think that was like?
That looks like miniature, maybe.
See, that was so cool.
Maybe a little bit of CG for the helicopter, but miniature for the rest. That looks like a
Filmmaking was
miniature
really
for
cool.
sure.
You know, like that they had to use a lot more practical effects. I miss that.
I know.
Now everything's filmed in front of a green screen.
And everything's CG, which sometimes works, but sometimes it's
And I
too
wonder
much.
if this is why some actors just decided to
happy
retire
day.
because they're like, I don't want to just be in front of a green screen.
Yeah. Well, that was Idris Elba's whole thing with the Thor movies. I wrote about that for Chichi.com /
Robert
author
Yaniz Jr.
/ Robert Yaniz Jr. I don't know.
Oh, don't you have hyphens?
God, yeah, I think so.
Hey, Face. Oh goodness,
Face.
that's a terrible nickname.
He just shoots his own
They're
guy. He
better than
doesn't
calling
care.
him Butt.
So Tommy Lee Jones was like not happy working with Jim Carrey. I think we should just mention that now.
Yeah.
He hated Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey told a story about it. And I wrote about this for Cheat Sheet. Search cheatsheet.com / Robert Yaniz. You'll find all my stuff. And he ran into I think Jim Carrey told the story on Howard Stern years ago, several years, 6-7 years ago, whatever. And he said he was at a restaurant having dinner, and somebody working there was like, "Oh, you're working with Tommy Lee Jones, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, he's over here having dinner." He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll go say hi." Jim Carrey went over to say hi, and Tommy Lee Jones face here, went white, was not happy to see him. And he came over and he's like, "I don't like you," or
Yin
whatever.
yang, that's a perfect balance
Exactly.
of the two
And he said to Jim Carrey, he's like, "I don't like you." And he's like, "Whoa, what's wrong? What's the problem, man?" He said a very memorable thing that the people, my favorite podcast, Blank Check, they quote sometimes. He said to Jim Carrey, he's like, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery," which sounds like something crusty old Tommy Lee Jones would say to Jim Carrey, who at that point was Ace Ventura, basically, in The Mask. So Jim Carrey's theory is that Tommy Lee Jones was in a movie called Cobb, where he played Ty Cobb, the baseball player. They came out right around the same time as Dumb and Dumber and got clobbered by Dumb and Dumber. And his theory that maybe Tommy Lee Jones was intimidated by that success or whatever. And I don't know if it's necessarily that or if Jim Carrey just wanted to pump his own fist a little there, but clearly those two personalities do not mesh. So making this movie was very hard for the two of them to get along.
So they already didn't like each other.
Well, during the making of this movie, that happened. Yeah.
Well, one thing I wanted to note. So they said, and billionaire Bruce Wayne.
He's a billionaire.
Remember being younger and like billionaire sound. It's like sounded like it was kind of like an imaginary thing that nobody was really a billionaire. But now, in our lifetime, there's so many billionaires.
Yeah.
That it's like now it's actually a real number.
Genius billionaire,
Like,
playboy philanthropist.
I feel like back in 1989, 1995, billionaire was kind of like similar to saying trillionaire. That just was kind of made up.
It's still weird. This scene is still weird because it's the first time you see Val Kilmer not in the suit, and you're like, oh man, it isn't. It wasn't Michael Keaton, motherfucker. Because you can almost like delude yourself into thinking, well, it's a guy in a mask. I don't know. Maybe who knows what he looks like underneath.
He seems so sad.
Jim Carrey?
No. Val Kilmer's Batman. Like Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne, Val Kilmer's Batman. So I think you've said this before. You prefer Val Kilmer's Batman compared to with Bruce Wayne. And you prefer Michael Keaton.
I think Michael Keaton is good at both, but I think Michael Keaton is better as Batman. I didn't say Val Kilmer. A lot of people say this, and I kind of agree with it, that they think Christian Bale is a really perfect Bruce Wayne. Because if you watch American Psycho, you're like, oh, this is what they saw in Christian Bale as a guy in a suit who's like has a double life and like has all these secret violent tendencies and like blah blah blah. Like that was like the kind of the prototype.
Isn't this
for
guy
that.
Gross too?
Ed Begley Jr. No, you're thinking of other people.
Oh,
Jeffrey
okay.
Jones, most people in movies.
That happened. It's been happening a lot.
Yeah, I know. Ansel Elgort recently, and
I mean, I think he's gross from a movie he did.
maybe he's done. Ed Begley Jr. has done voice work and TV and movie. He's been literally in everything. He's like one of those everyman people. You know how like Whoopi Goldberg is famous and an Oscar winner and has been huge like our entire lives. Like I don't remember a time that I didn't know who
His integrity is coming through here.
Right. That I didn't know who Whoopi Goldberg was. Ed Begley Jr. is one of those people that like, what do you know him from? Have your pick. He's been in hundreds. He's got 100 credits. Yeah, you know, I like that Bruce Wayne has integrity and morals here. And it's like, yeah, I don't know about that, dude. But it's also, they ripped off this entire Riddler arc for Amazing Spider-Man 2. Remember, he's like, oh, Spider-Man. I'm a geeky, nerdy guy, but now I'm all scary. Which it doesn't work in there. It kind of works here, I think, because we hadn't really seen it in a superhero movie before.
Yeah, now he's a.
That's not gonna be good for me.
So I don't get it. Why can't he just like, oh?
He thinks he deserves it. He's entitled. He's an entitled prick.
Yes.
Look at his defeated face.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey is okay.
He should at least he has Golden Globes.
I'm gonna wait. Should I wait? Do I wait to get into my Jim Carrey thing?
You wait.
Okay, until he becomes Riddlery.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when he has this whole sequence with Ed Begley Jr. coming up.
It's like his hair.
Back to work, Edward. You're supposed to understand.
He feels it.
I'll make you understand. He's
Think
great.
they're frames
He's great in
in
this.
glasses?
For the sake of realism, maybe. I mean, but again, this is not a movie concerned with realism. Look at this shit. Look. I see. He still works.
This is before Alexa.
Batman had Alexa before everybody else. Look, and this is very Adam. I mean, they had some of that in the Burton ones, but it's like, can't he just open a door and go into the
No,
like?
of course not.
That's what I'm saying. He like shoots
how
on
the
a
hell
little
did he end
missile.
up- yeah.
It's like a modern version of the bat pole from the Batman, the old Batman thing.
So, how close is his office to his house?
And here's the question: how deep underground is the Batcave? Jesus Christ, that went like 1,000,000 feet down there. Not 1,000,000, but like a lot, a billion.
His hair's not even.
Of course not. Well, he was in a little Iron Maiden style thing. So Batmobile
it's
design.
amazing.
Look, Dutch angle again.
I like that they realized that he'd have to be a billionaire to be able to afford
Right,
any
well,
of
of course.
these things because this is.
You know what a Dutch
This is
angle
very-
is, right? The little sideways thing where the camera's like.
Oh, I do that on accident.
Yeah, I do
My
that on
phone
purpose.
all the time.
Maybe it's inspired by Batman stuff. Do you like the Batmobile design in this? The kind of like more insect-like Batmobile? I think it's
Kind
cool.
of.
I prefer the Michael Keaton one, but I think it
I'm
works.
still all about the one in The Dark Knight Rises where it becomes a
Oh,
like a pod thing.
Oh, the bat.
or
That Dark Knight,
motorcycle.
not the Dark Knight, not the Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises, he has the flying one, the bat.
Oh,
You don't see the bat pod. I don't think is the bat pod even in Dark Knight Rises? It might be.
she's, jeez, Chase Meridian.
Bat signal is not a
That is
beeper.
a good line. I can't. Oh, jeez.
Kind of likes the cheesy Batman lines. She's like, I want to get in those.
Just so
Are
tacky,
you-
Chase Meridian.
Wait, are you trying to get under my cape, Doctor?
Goodness. Oh, Nicole Kidman like to
She's
say
so-
after this movie came out that she's like,
Chicks
think
love
about
the
it.
car.
I'm the only one. Did he already say it?
Yeah, he just said it.
Oh man, I missed it. But she said that she
likes
was
the
the
bad
only
boys.
one that really ever got to actually kiss Batman because all the other ladies were kissing. Bruce
Michelle
Wayne.
Pfeiffer licked Batman. She's a cat. That counts as a kiss, right? Kind of.
But she was like,
Try a fireman left to take off.
yeah, so she was very proud of her character for getting to kiss Batman.
Yeah, she's all.
she's horny.
She is I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say as the kids say, she's very thirsty.
I don't blame it at a family picnic. Oh my goodness.
I'll bring the wine. You bring your scarred psyche. I remember. See, I said that before the line came up because I've seen this a million times. He's like,
You are pretty hot right now.
you like strong women. I've done my
Well,
homework.
well,
Or
the thing is,
whoosh.
though, that's
Catwoman.
good about her character is that she is empowering. She's empowered. She's like, I want you, so I'm gonna come after you, and that's not something that's traditional.
That's true.
In films or even a Batman movie.
Poor Gordon's like, what happened? What's the signal on?
He's like, nothing. She's just trying to get under my cape.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Good thing I have this cod piece to hide my business.
Yeah, it really, yeah.
And he jumps right in the car, of course. Yeah, I think it probably is a lot of. I haven't seen the behind the scenes stuff on this
Yeah,
in a
he
long
does have
time.
a great
Women.
jaw, great lips, like for this.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
And he didn't really do much after these movies.
He
after
he
this movie.
did, but not to this level. Well, next year he had The Island of Dr. Moreau, which is a freaking shit show.
Do you think that he read the script to Batman and Robin and was like, I don't want to do this?
No, actually, he was supposed to. It was a whole thing. He was supposed to be in it, and then
Of course he would know this.
He decided he didn't want to show up, and then they were like, "Good, we don't want you anyway because you're such a pain in the ass to work with."
So wait, how did he do the Island of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando, who also didn't show up?
Yeah, I know.
How did that work?
I can't imagine. That must have been a fun set. Caffeine will kill you. We'll be doing my Jim Carrey voice quite a bit here, I'm sure. I love this sequence because this is Jim Carrey at his most Jim Carrey-ish. I feel like I can get into it now because this is I just kind of said what this is. So Jim Carrey wants to do his, I don't forget what did he call it in this movie? But it's like basically virtual reality thing, but it steals your brainwaves. For people that are listening to this and haven't seen the movie, which shame on you, go see this movie. If you don't, it's not Dark Knight, but it's fun Batman in its own right. Jim Carrey was my dude in the mid 90s. Like
He was my dude too.
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was a major comedic awakening for me. You hear people talk about their sexual awakenings. This was my comedic awakening. I developed a lot of my sense of humor from watching Ace Ventura, The Mask. Not Dumb and Dumber. I still never got, even as a
Has your sense of
kid.
humor really changed? since
Not
then?
really. That's what I'm saying. But that was when it was starting to really be formed. There are certain franchises and certain movies and certain actors that really helped shape the kind of comedy that I'm into. And Jim Carrey was a huge part of that. And yes, I was
Even the effects
familiar.
for this isn't that bad. for
No, it's not.
1995.
No, it's aged pretty well. I was familiar with him from In Living Color a little bit here and there. Like I watched that, not as much as you did, but I did watch
I
that.
used to be able to do Fire Marshal Bill impression.
I know. And now you haven't 10 years almost together, and you still don't know how to do it. So that's interesting.
I also used to be able to do Gonzo. I didn't
Almost
do
like
that
you
one
never
either.
did. Almost like you never were able to do it at all.
I have witnesses.
Just like a cartwheel.
I don't have witnesses to that.
No, you don't, because it never happened. And I'd seen the movie Once Bitten when young James Carrey
Still haven't
started,
seen that.
which I think is on Amazon. I should show you that. It used to be.
Wait, he was James Carrey?
Yeah, it was before he went by Jim Carrey.
Wow.
That's how early it was in his career. He hadn't settled on what his professional name was going to be. So Ace Ventura and The Mask, Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, and this movie were enormous for me. So that 2-year period, I was obsessed with Jim Carrey. I have And if people are interested, I could take a picture and post it on my Instagram. I have a big eraser from, I was in elementary school, middle school at the time. A big eraser shaped like a pencil that I wrote all of his dialogue, his different catchphrases from Ace Ventura and The Mask on it. And I used to have that with me all the time at school. I would watch these movies for like 20 minutes while I was eating breakfast in the morning before I went to school. Like, I was all about it. So I was 100% on board for this. What do you think, Kai? I know you were really big into Jim Carrey at the time, kind of like I was. And then you also later with Liar Liar and things like that. What do you think of his performance as the Riddler? At one point, this was going to be Robin Williams, but then I think he had such a huge 94 that they were like, we're getting that guy.
Yeah, I don't even know how he had the time because he was in basically 4 movies from that
in a year and a half.
Yeah, and like
5 movies. If you're talking 94, 95, he was in Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls was the year after Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Oh boy, so he may have filmed at the same time.
Or like right after,
But yeah. He must have not slept for a couple of years because he was kind of the lead in all these movies. I saw all of his films in the movie theater. I saw Ace Ventura, loved it. Okay, I did do When Nature Calls on VHS because then saw it only once and it was terrible.
You didn't see it in theaters?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, see that.
And The
yeah,
Mask, I saw at my friend's house, loved it.
So you didn't see it in theaters?
No.
Oh, okay.
And then I
was just curious,
saw,
sorry.
and
Keep
then
talking.
The Cable Guy I actually saw with my
Which is weird.
dad and my sister and my mom. Like there was a period of time that me and my dad actually went to see Jim Carrey movies in the movie theater, like by design, because all of his movies were coming out in the summertime. So,
Right.
And both me and my dad were big Jim Carrey fans. My dad also took me to see The Truman Show. Saw that in the movie theater. That was in 98, 97.
The Truman Show, 98.
Okay, yeah. So like
June.
I've been a big Jim Carrey fan since forever too.
And you still haven't seen Man on the Moon, though.
No, I kind of my
Fell off a little.
Yeah, but no, I love Jim Carrey. Like, still, he's very talented, and he actually wrote a children's book that we read to our daughter. So he's
Yeah,
like
see, you get
multifaceted.
not to interrupt. There's your glimpse at normal Harvey Dent before he went wacky. I still would have liked to
of course,
see.
Batman's in the courtroom.
He probably caught wind of, like, that doesn't even make sense what just happened with the acid, but okay.
Yeah, how'd they get that in there?
It's like he had it and it hit his whole face, and then it was like on the other side, but it flipped. It was weird. But I still would have liked to have seen Billy D. Williams play Harvey Dent. I think that would have been cool to follow up on the original Batman. But yeah, weirdly, you also didn't care for Dumb and Dumber.
No.
Even as a kid, you were like, I don't like this.
I saw that in the movie theater too.
Yeah, see, I didn't see it until VHS, I think.
No,
I was like, I don't care for
that
this.
movie.
Why?
So,
Oh, no.
so he
Ma'am,
pushed
please?
him out the window, right?
Yes. Yeah. Did you were talking? I think we were both talking
Yeah.
when that happened.
Oh God, you were such a liar.
So now
he's,
visits all the time.
so he's that guy. He's been in stuff.
He's in Batman and Robin. Weirdly,
Oh.
I think he plays a Wayne Tech like scientist or something in that too.
So-
It's a sentence structure. See, but it's so like obvious that he's up to something to us, but people just don't see it because again, it's a completely different tone in a way than the other Burton movies. You know, it still works. It's still valid.
So
But
because he tested out one person, and he's like,
he
okay,
also
I'm ready
wanted to
leave
kill him because he was gonna end his project. He was taking him off. He was stopping his project. So he framed him. He changed the video footage to make it look like Stickley killed himself.
Yep, definitely suicide.
He's insanely smart, and he's like,
especially now that they took his
you'll
brainwave.
find that it matches his exactly as the sentence structure and spelling, like all that stuff. That's what makes the Riddler such a formidable villain, and that's why every time there's a new version of Batman, people are like, yeah, of course we're gonna get a Joker, but what are we getting, a Riddler? Like everybody is expecting the Riddler to be in The Dark Knight Rises, so it was a surprise when they went with Bane instead.
So what do you think happened in? Oh yeah, the Bane and Batman Robin is absolutely terrible.
Oh God, yeah.
But what do you think made him all of a sudden Enigma go, I'm gonna send a riddle? Did that happen from the getting the brainwaves, or was this? Do you think it's something he was already planning?
I think Bruce Wayne rejected his proposal. He's like, he had been obsessed. Remember, he was obsessed with Bruce Wayne before this. So then he was like, I just got to meet Bruce Wayne. He'll understand. And he's a crazy person. So he fixated on Bruce Wayne. Well, Chase will say this later. He fixated on Bruce Wayne and was convinced that Bruce Wayne, if he just get Bruce Wayne to listen to him, everything would work out. Bruce Wayne would see his genius and appreciate it and blah, 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 and he'd be off and running. And then Bruce Wayne shut him down, and I think that's what helped his already that fragile mind really be pushed over the edge. And so that's why he lashed out at his boss, and now he's kind of toying with Bruce Wayne because he's pissed with him and resentful because of that.
Isn't it always funny when you think that you're brilliant? And
He had like pictures. Look, pictures of Bruce Wayne
it
everywhere.
Depends on. Do not think that you're brilliant.
Look, yeah, I agree. He's got magazine clippings of Bruce Wayne everywhere. It's convenient that he has a bobblehead with the Riddler suit and also like a vending machine like fortune teller thing with the Riddler suit. Weird.
Yeah, so
See?
is
He's
that
got
supposed to be
all of
like
this.
meta or something like that? Like, is the Riddler here supposed to be a character from somebody else in this
Yeah, that's a
movie?
good point, Kai. I don't know. I've never thought of that. I just thought it was some weird carnival thing that he's like, I'm gonna steal this guy's design.
That could be.
I think it's
Why
just
couldn't
that.
it be Voltar?
Zoltar. It's Zoltar. That's a great movie. We should talk about that at some point. Even though it's gross that he's like a 10-year-old who's turned 35 and has
You
sex
mean
with a
13?
lady. But, whatever.
Oh, God, wow, nice face.
I'm
I'm impressed. It
he
just
does
sticks
the
so well.
see you soon. Yeah, Jim Carrey, and I'm gonna just basically gush about Jim Carrey for the 2 hours in this because Jim Carrey has the perfect, I don't know, his style for this movie. This movie's big and bold and in your face and very not subtle with what it's trying to do, and that's his
Robin
style.
Williams, Robin Williams.
He would've been
is
good,
great,
too.
But I feel like Jim Carrey's energy is better suited for this than Robin Williams.
Robin Williams had the manic energy too, but not as much at this point. I feel like not to the same.
This is only a couple of years after
Mrs.
Aladdin.
Doubtfire. This is the couple years after Mrs. Doubtfire, actually. Yeah,
You-
two. This is 95.
I keep thinking Mrs. Doubtfire was 94 for some reason.
Nope, 93.
Oh.
It was you. It was like one of the
I feel
biggest
like
movies.
94 was a big year for movies because it was.
It was, yeah, for Jim Carrey movies. For what else? Lion King, Forrest Gump.
Kim. Yeah. Pulp Fiction.
That's the famous Pulp Fiction, Shawshank.
94
Forrest
and
Gump year.
99 were big film movies. Oh, she's got a boxing.
Of course she does.
See,
Look how hot she is.
well, what did it have to do with her having a boxing bag, a punching
got-
bag in
stays
her
in shape.
office? I
And
want
it's also a
one.
reason for him to be like, I thought you were in danger. I heard you struggling.
And
You
she's
fight
like
by
not
me in the
interested in
door.
him at all.
She's like, I don't give a shit. Yeah, she's like, you boring, dude. I like the guy. She's like
He has a
the.
square head.
She likes the bad boys.
Yeah, she said that, right?
Yeah, she's like, when I was a kid, it was people with motorcycles, leather jackets, whatever. And then
She
she's
always
like,
wears
she's like,
black in this.
she's like, what a doofus. I don't know how this movie makes. It's weird. This
I
movie.
love her office. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, her office is like an apartment.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm got money too, fucker.
Yeah, kind of. She is as just a normal non-superhero person. I do think she's a pretty good match for Bruce Wayne as a love interest. I think Selena Kyle is a good match because she's got an alter ego like he does. Like he says, we're the same, split right down the center, like he says in Batman Returns. I've seen that movie more than you. And Vicky Vale is just whiny. I think neither one of us are really big Vicky Vale fans. You notice I'm not saying Kim Basinger needs to make a return in the DCEU.
But she was definitely beautiful, and he
Yes,
has a thing
yes,
for blondes.
yes.
Except for, well, no, he has a thing for blondes in these movies. And
In these
then,
movies.
Christian Nolan movies, he has a thing for brunettes.
Rachel Dawes, Selena Kyle, Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's
he
obsessed
didn't
with
make an
you.
appointment. That's rude. But she was just boxing. She was just punching her punching bag anyway.
Guy's a total wacko. Yeah, he's got problems. He's scary. He might murder people.
Your hair is just long enough that you could do that too.
Should I be Bruce Wayne for the socially distanced Halloween? Which, by the way, I saw something on
He
Facebook
looks
today.
so vacant. Like looking at his eyes.
Yeah, he
there's
seems
nothing in
checked
his-
out.
Yeah, there's nothing in his eyes.
Well, this is my other story. He did not get along well with Joel Schumacher at all.
Jeez, what the hell's everybody?
I know. That's what I'm
It's too
saying.
bad.
That's why I was like, hold on.
Did she get along with everybody?
I think
She seemed
Nicole
like she
Kidman
would.
seems like, I don't know. People change over time. He would probably be
She's
nice.
from Australia.
He's got a lot
All
of.
the chicks there are
He's had a
cool.
lot of health problems. Like it's hard for him to talk and stuff now. So he's probably nice now, but when he was hot shit back in the day, he might have been an asshole. I don't know if she was an asshole here and is nice now, or maybe she was a nice person the whole time. I'd like to think so. She seems. I don't think we ever really heard anything shitty about Nicole Kidman.
So who knows how oppressed she was
By
with Tom Cruise.
well, yes, or whoever else everyone else in the industry, the Weinsteins of the
Yeah.
world and shit. It's really upsetting and scary that has been the situation for decades. But he did not get along well with Joel Schumacher whatsoever. At one point, they weren't even talking to each other for like 2 weeks.
No, you see how her face lit up? She's
Yeah.
like, oh. Like,
You
it
heard-
seemed like a genuine thing. I'm hearing what you're saying.
Okay,
but
okay.
I'm also-
Making sure we're on the same page.
I'm also commenting.
That's good. No, I know. We're doing both. He always says this. Every time I seen this movie, he always says that weird. He's like, "Do you like the circus?" He like lisps it at the end, which is
I
not
didn't hear it.
his. Yeah, I know. We're doing it without. Well, that guy's really painted gold.
This seems like a circus.
Gold member would
Circus
like
Olay
him.
type
Gold
of thing.
member, and I'm even thinking about Austin Powers, which is another big comedic
Doesn't this seem like
awakening.
more Circus Olay type circus?
Or
With
I
all
don't
the
even know what the
colors
hell this
and-
is.
'cause I don't know. Is there
I'm gonna
an
get-
like. There's no. I don't really remember there being really any elephants.
Not like this. This is. I've never seen a circus like this. One of that lady there in the front, Gossip Gertie or whatever, and with the glasses on the left, that's Bob Kane's wife / widow. Bob Kane, one of the co-creator of
I wonder if
Bob
they-
Kane, co-creator of Batman.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go get a refill. You keep talking about the circus.
Oh, and this guy.
We're gonna meet Robin in this scene, so you
Yes, we
can talk
are.
about that. Talk about Chris O'Donnell.
What happened to him? He kind of disappeared. Aw. And they have the Robin Hood, the Robin, the Robin colors on. How cool would that be if you were in a circus performing family, that you're good at acrobats? Actually, I have a friend whose wife used to be in Circus Olay, and she was in Volta, and it was a lot about like doing things like this, like with swirling the baton, and you have to be really very skilled to do stuff like this. My God, it looks so scary. But what a workout. At least there's a net. But what if you go down too hard and you bounce off?
I like that their outfits are like a kind of throwback to the old school Robin outfit too. Guy.
Yeah, that is cool. So he's taking her to the circus, and now they're going rock climbing.
She really loves it.
Yeah, she really is not into him.
She's like, I don't care, dude. I'm working on Batman. I'm on a mission.
Well,
People listening to this. People listening to this will we have our 40-year-old virgin episode coming soon. She's planting the seeds. She's like, I'm working on Batman right now.
okay, but here's
I'll
the-
get back to you.
but here's the thing that I don't understand. So he sees her. She does the bat signal to pick him up, and he's very like cold to her. And then as Bruce Wayne, he's like, "Let's go on a date now, and now let's go rock climbing." Like, what happened? Where was the shift?
Because he doesn't want her to be in love with him as like a weird leather bad boy superhero fetish. She wants, it's like there's been versions of Superman stuff that I've seen. I think Lois and Clark and stuff where he was like, well, I need to get her to be in love with me for who I am, which is
No.
my alter ego, not because, by the way, I'm a superhero. So I think that's kind of where he's coming from. But at the same time, he's like, damn, she's hot though. I need to try and see what can happen. Go ahead. All you, Kai.
No, I mean, I think that makes sense, but it just was such a shift, and it kind of, in some ways, also feels like it comes out of nowhere. He's cold to her, and then Bruce Wayne's like, "Oh, yeah, let's go. I'm gonna go break down your door and ask you on a date." But yeah, so look at the Amazing Graysons. It's weird that he would just... Is he at the circus? Is Two-Face at the circus because he's like, Batman's here? Because he knows that because of the news?
No, he doesn't know that Batman's there. He doesn't know who Batman is.
Yeah, I thought he does because he's about to ask them, whoever is Batman, tell me who Batman is or I won't kill
Surely
them.
one of you pasty-faced twits knows who Batman is. Odds are one of you is Batman. That's right. I remember
Because
that.
that's random. Isn't it also, don't circuses go on longer than one night?
They tend to, yes. And Riddler is like, Edward Nygma is like all about it. He's like, this guy is my new boyfriend. Like, not boyfriend, but like I need to team up with him. And
These bombs are ridiculous.
yeah, that's the Adam West style bomb.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of a bomb, right? 200 sticks of TNT.
Wasn't there a big bomb in The Dark Knight Rises? In the truck?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At the end, and he takes it away, and I was like, this feels like a little Adam Westy. Bruised, broken, bleeding, in a word, dead. I do think Tommy Lee Jones is fun in this movie. I also think his character is completely flat as hell, and Harvey Dent / Two-Face deserves better like character development generally. Just as because the Riddler gets a lot of screen time. We kind of understand his perspective. This guy was just like, we just know that he blames Batman for his scars, and so he's like, I'm gonna get revenge, and that's it. And it's kind of very two-dimensional. Thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's also
He's
I
the
don't really know
cartoonish one.
why does he want to get revenge?
I want it because Batman didn't save him. He's like, you didn't save me, yeah, or whatever. I do love that's a very Batman moment, and I love that they have that in there where Batman is like, if it will save lives, yeah, fuck my secret identity. So he's like, Harvey, I'm Batman, but he can't hear it in the crowd. I love that moment. That's a complete Bruce Wayne, like
He just broke his neck.
true Batman moment. Did he? I think he just kind of turned him and punched him over.
Oh.
There's Chris O'Donnell wearing eye makeup, I think, right? Isn't he wearing eye makeup in this scene?
Yeah, I
Aren't
think
they all
so.
wearing eye makeup?
He was just ziplining with his hands.
He was. Ziplining's cool,
We
guys.
were recommended not to do that
We
with
went to
our
an
hands.
adventure course a few months ago before the world fell apart.
Yeah.
And
It was like
we
ages
did
ago.
a lot of zip lining, a lot of climbing on stuff, a lot of leaping of faith. And it was interesting, very vigorous and exhausting, but fun.
But the ziplining was the best part.
Zip lining's
And
not
you think
scary
that-
at all.
yeah.
Zip lining's cool.
Yeah,
that
once you
was
know how to
the
do it.
That was the least scary part. Anyway, there's
Anyway.
more. He's swinging. That's kind of what I did. What Bruce Wayne just did. Letting go on the rope and just swinging down. So I have that coin, by the way. I've shown you this, I think.
Do you ever use it?
No, not as much as I should. But I do have that coin that came with the Two-Face action figure, which I have somewhere, but I can't find because I don't throw away in my childhood, apparently. And so look, doesn't it kind of give away
martial arts?
Doesn't it kind of give away? Does nobody see Bruce Wayne like using martial arts on the bad guys? But like, that looks like very Batman-y what he just did. You notice that? Nobody's seeing this but us, apparently.
What kind of martial arts do you think that is supposed to be?
I have no idea, and I don't want to
How come he knows so much
identify
about
that.
this
They
arena
all
that he
go
even knows where
splash.
the trapdoor is?
This is very upsetting
Poor.
because Dick Grayson took the bomb out, and he wasn't there to help his family. And Dick Grayson, who's supposed to be, 20, but looks like he's 35? Is Chris O'Donnell one of those people that just always looked like he was 30 even when he was 20?
Could be. I mean, I think he was probably only like 25.
I'm going to look
in
it
this
up.
movie.
Oh, look. That feels like a panel out of the comic or something.
So they
And
all fell to the ground?
They all fell to the ground because he was like shooting up at the rafters and stuff and like knocking things down and things. Like I really like his face. It's very emotional, like anguish face. Aww.
And I really, that bums me out that Batman and Robin ruined Chris O'Donnell's career.
Kind
but
of.
nobody else's. Like, what happened?
Well, I mean, they say that personally, I'm
'Cause
gonna
it didn't hurt
I'm
Uma
gonna say
Thurman,
it.
It didn't hurt Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Personally,
it didn't hurt George Clooney.
I don't give a shit about Batman and Robin, but I would kind of like it if the DCEU Michael Keaton thing acknowledged this movie because I do like this movie, and I think I'm obsessed with trilogies. I do think this works as a third part of the trilogy that starts with the first Batman with Batman Returns and that ends here. I can see this movie with maybe a little
Look, he's
bit.
wearing a polo. How do you feel about that?
I don't like polos. I like Commissioner Gordon's hat. I could see this movie being, maybe being slightly different in tone, but still working with Michael Keaton in it as Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? It starts with him being lonely and in that mansion where nobody knows who Bruce Wayne is in the first Batman movie, and then it ends here where he has a partner to help him fight
And a
crime. It's
ward.
like, yeah.
So if you're saying he's like 20, why does he have to live with a person? Isn't he old enough to take care of himself?
Well, that's all good. I think he's supposed to be younger then. Maybe he's supposed to be 17, which makes.
Even less
We also
sense.
just watched the Dark Knight Returns animated thing. That little girl's supposed to be like freaking 12 or something. Carrie Kelly. I don't remember how old she's supposed to be.
Yeah,
but
these
definitely
Robins are very
a kid.
talented.
And they all have their own unique backstories. Dick Grayson goes on to become Nightwing. He works with Batman as Robin. for a long time, and then they have a falling out, and then he becomes a Nightwing. He becomes his own superhero. Jason Todd does not have a very good time, as you know.
You like those glasses? Those are 2001
2001
Space Odyssey glasses, aren't they?
2001 Space Odyssey. You haven't even seen that.
the one with the bomb.
Dr. Strangelove?
Yes, that's it.
I can a little bit.
Yeah.
Hang on a lot of biker bars, Bruce. I like that this movie acknowledges how rich he is, where he's got a garage of like a bazillion cars that he's about to show off in a few minutes here.
And it's also so interesting, like how kind
Bruce
Batman
Wayne is?
Yeah. Like in the Christopher Nolan Batman, he doesn't seem like he's kind. He's a kind Bruce Wayne, but in this one, he's very kind and
it depends on.
caring.
I mean, the character is often depicted as obsessed because he is like literally like he doesn't have any bandwidth, to use a corporate term. He doesn't have any bandwidth for anything other than I dress in this suit, I go out and beat people up. This is my jam. This is all I do.
And he's still able to run Wayne Enterprises.
I mean, he doesn't. That's why.
Sleep,
well, that's why in the Dark Knight movies, he makes Lucius Fox the CEO. Like he owns it, but he doesn't do anything. Like on the day to day.
That reminds me of that movie we just watched, but I don't remember.
Which one? There's a lot of movies we would try and watch.
Oh, never mind. No, it was a book I read. Sorry.
Oh, okay. That's why I was confused.
It was a book I read that
oh, pity. I got all this yummy food. And like, is
That's
that milk?
good.
What has he got to drink? Milk? Coconut? No, what is that?
It's nice.
I know, because they're trying to guilt him and say. I think part
You
of
want your hair like that? That's easy.
so the Christian Bale Batman is more obsessed, and I think the Michael Keaton Batman starts out that way. I think
he's
by
more
the
obsessed
third
with putting
time,
an image of the Bruce Wayne thing.
well, I think he's just obsessed. Like he pretends to be a playboy and whatever, but he doesn't really care about it. He's the whole time he's sitting there pretending to like buy hotels, like buying hotels and shit. And the Batman Begins and the sequels. He's just like, yeah, okay, this is cool. When can I get back to my computer and stop
This is interesting.
the
This is in black and
Joker or
white.
whatever?
You can kind of tell that it's timeless.
Yeah.
Because this is clearly in the 90s. He's not.
You like how Thomas Wayne is like wearing a hat like it was the 40s?
Yeah, like they never really stopped.
Like the
with-
pearls. We've never
No,
seen those though.
They never really stopped.
That's
with
supposed to still be the Joker, technically. Jack Napier, right?
Yeah, they never really stopped with the 40s
Imagery,
timeline.
yeah.
But clearly he's not.
I mean,
he's not
yeah.
like 6 years old.
his
Yeah.
parents just had a very I don't know, throwbacky sense of style. And this movie adds the whole idea of the funeral, which we've never really seen in any of these movies up to this point, and the red leather book that his father, I think that his father left for him, or that he used to carry with him, and sort of his struggle with identity, which is a classic superhero movie trope. Spider-Man, Superman, everybody's kind of grappled with do they want to be a superhero or do they want to have a normal life, and trying to find that balance. So this is the Batman movie that really focuses on that. That's the other thing. I think thematically this movie fits with the other two, builds on it, and it has a kind of a compelling character arc for Bruce Wayne. That he starts out kind of from a place of isolation, and then by the end of it he needs to open up a little more to Chase, to Robin, and kind of make peace with his parents' death sort of once and for all, and move forward from there.
It's yeah. I mean,
You seem like you're zoning out a
No,
little.
I
Is this
was-
the wine?
what? No, wait, what did he say?
He says I killed him.
He says it in all these movies. It's always the.
He feels responsible for. I think part of why he takes Robin in is because he does feel guilty that he wasn't able to save his family.
So one thing I want to ask though is that did his parents put Alfred in the will for guardianship,
I mean,
or
I
is
would
it
think
just
so.
he gets Alfred as his caretaker because he's rich?
I mean, I think Alfred was
Because
his
it was never
guardian
a really-
when he was a kid.
Because there was never like a state fight for
I mean,
his
this is
estate.
what we're talking
or-
about from Batman
I know,
Forever?
Just the thing is interesting because he's an orphan, and I don't know if it's his privilege that he didn't have to. And it's also a movie, comic book. I
You're
know.
completely checked out on this movie, aren't you? Your
I was
your
just
mind is
curious. I'm
wandering.
just curious because he was they showed the scene with his parents dying.
I flew in like a robin. You got a little ham-handed Robin reference here. Do we really need a reference to why he calls himself Robin later on? I don't know. I feel like that's a little unnecessary.
I like
We
if
get
they
it.
did in The Dark Knight Rises instead, where he's like,
Oh, that's
yeah.
where I don't like that. I think
that's more
dumb.
ham-handed?
Yeah, I think that's stupid. I don't really, honestly, straight up, I enjoy this movie a lot better than The Dark Knight Rises. I think Dark Knight Rises is technically a better made movie, but it's disappointing on a number of levels. This one is the one is of the two is the one I'd prefer to come back to again and again. I love Michael Gow, however you say his name. I like him quite a bit as Alfred.
He's in all four, you said.
He's
right?
in all four.
What's he done since this?
He's been in a lot of other things. He's since passed away because he was old here.
Yeah, I
And
know.
this is 25 years ago. But yeah,
How
he's
sad he looks.
he's like, I don't like this. This is lonely and dumb. Or as our daughter would get mad at me for saying, this is stupid.
And then he's driving like a 50s with the people.
Look, Dutch angle. Jesus.
The villains are
The
driving
camera-
like a 50s car. Like,
It's
that's
just-
what I'm saying. It's
yeah.
like a timeless.
It's like Batman 66. Like, look, Two-Face is like, I'm a homeless. I'm a beggar. I'm an old
50s,
woman
like-
with a thing. Oh, no, just kidding. I'd murder you.
It makes me think of Speed for some reason. It was in 94.
It's so stupid, but in a fun way. That's what I'm saying. This movie's kind of has stupid things that work because they're fun to watch. Like Two-Face wandering under a bridge with a like carriage, just like, pretending he's a homeless person, and then all of a sudden with a bazooka. Like, what the hell?
I think Joel Schumacher has a thing with bazookas because in Falling Down there was a bazooka in that
Yeah,
too.
bazookas are fun. Bazookas
How
are
do you
very
know?
cinematic.
Do you have one hiding
No, of
away?
course not. I could make a double entendre, but I don't feel it's not appropriate for the episode.
What is the hell? These cars, man.
Wheel drive, thank you. He's got the Venom thing too, where he refers to himself in third, in the plural sense.
His face looks like rubber.
It does.
Looks like silly putty.
It does not look good. I agree. But I remember hearing at one point, Jim Carrey spent longer in the makeup chair than Tommy Lee Jones.
Why?
For that wig and like the white, because his skin is very pale when he's Riddler. I don't know why Edward Nygma like puts on like a
It takes a long
face
time
mask
for
or
the Riddler
whatever.
to show up in this.
Yeah, he does. He takes
Watching this for like an hour.
Yeah, I know. The Riddler. It is basically the halfway point when Riddler finally shows up in the next scene. I think in Two-Face's lair, where he proposes the whole partnership. And that scene, I think they had just filmed or were about to film when that whole story that I just told you about Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones happened. Look, they're climbing up the building,
That's
just like
pretty
on the
cool.
show in 1966 when they climb up on the freaking rope.
Well, that
I mean,
was
this
them,
is
and
such.
now this is in the car. So
I
it's got
know.
A little bit of
Well,
a different
yeah, we're
spin.
updating it to the 90s. And Elliot Goldenthal's going wild with his horns and shit.
So
Look,
clearly-
come on, Adam West
So
shit.
clearly the gloves, when there's no fingers, is like a style choice. Because
Yeah.
what do you do when you don't?
I don't think he's trying to keep his identity a secret.
I guess that makes
This guy,
guess
okay,
makes
this is so now Edward Nygma is Cher Horowitz, straight up trying on different outfits.
Good point.
I just noticed that because at the time when I grew up with this movie, I didn't see Clueless until how many years ago? When did you show me Clueless? And how far into our relationship?
Like pretty early on.
So
Oh my
2011,
gosh,
12?
No, dude, no.
Captain Kill.
No, terrible.
So basically, he's doing whatever the question mark man. That's a terrible name. He's like, no. He's like, Joker's been taken. Damn it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes I feel like the Riddler and the Joker is kind of the
Too
same.
similar. Yeah, but the Joker is all about chaos. The Riddler is the Joker is very precise too, but the Joker just likes to
both
stir.
smart.
Joker just likes to stir shit up, and the thing that makes Joker interesting is that in a lot of his depictions, like as in The Dark Knight, Joker doesn't want to kill Batman. Joker is like, Batman is my reason for being. Batman exists so I could fuck shit up. And so he could stop me, and this is the fucking game we play on and on. I don't want to talk. And Riddler is more calculating. He's like the fucking Hannibal Lecter type, more. Now I'm not going to talk because Drew Barrymore's on screen. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I love Drew Barrymore. I really got into Drew Barrymore actually.
Have we
around
not
this
talked
time.
about Drew Barrymore on the show at all? Really?
Maybe not.
Maybe on Ever After for the
No,
98 episode that we did.
I was right around the time I started getting into her. She was on the cover of YM.
I mean, I'm feeling kind
I
of
think
into her right now.
to promote this movie, and I was like, and I read her story, and I was like, oh, she's so interesting, and that was actually one of the reasons I wanted to see this movie because I knew she was in this, and she was like 20 years old, 19 when she made it, and
Charred Heart of Black Boar. Ew.
and
gross.
I liked that the
The two sides.
the two sides.
Again, very like big and like cartoony but it works. I like it. It's fun.
I didn't hear about Drew Barrymore feuding with anybody,
Oh, there he is
so
on
the
the side.
ladies got along.
Dink.
Why does
I
he know
hope
where
he made
he
extra.
lives?
He followed him there probably.
Or he's so smart now he doesn't.
Oh, and I want to say I wanted the toy version of this thing that they had for costumes
Yeah.
for Halloween as the question mark cane. I wanted that
So
shit. Never got it.
performative. Yeah.
Oh, it's so great. It's so
Like,
great.
he
I love it.
It's like there's like a
the hat,
choreography
the
to
cane,
what
all of that shit.
With how he walks in and
So when I used to work at AMC back in the day, I used to use, you used to have the pen when you work in the box office and you have the pen for people to sign their receipt or whatever. I used to flip the pen around and I think it was because I was inspired by the way the dude was flipping his little question mark cane around a lot in this movie.
do you think this,
Because I loved that. Everything about the mask, the hat, there's a challenge.
do you think that did he and he wants Batman to die as the Riddler?
Yes.
Yeah.
But he wants to torture him first.
So did he come up with the Riddler
Both
costume in
sides in
a
opposition.
day, or do you think this is a couple days?
I think he just took the costume off the machine in the freaking in his house, in his
Because he
apartment.
really knows how to perform. And look, see the blush there.
Yeah, exactly.
he has straight up makeup on.
He also he wasn't like this before, but now all of a sudden Edward Nygma is very effeminate. Did you notice that? He's very sounds like a good idea. Look, he's like, I can help you get Batman. Like he's almost it's kind of quasi weirdly flirtatious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know why that is. Look, see some of the motions he does.
Do you
and
think
stuff.
some of that was advice from Joel Schumacher?
I think
Or
so.
think he just-
Well, Joel
he-
Schumacher was openly gay.
Yeah.
So I wonder if some of that was I don't know.
Or maybe he just
it's interesting.
he just put the costume on and was like, "This is and had the makeup and he's like,
Yeah.
this is what I
Maybe.
am feeling for the character."
But see all this
I
shit.
feel like they kind of just let Jim Carrey do whatever he wanted.
All this shit works. I used to fast forward to this scene to watch the scene of Jim Carrey doing bright and chipper and conservative, and watch him do this shit. Because like I said, Jim Carrey, so you and so you,
And I
so
love
you.
Drew Barrymore's hair in this. It was the same hair that she had on the cover of YM.
God, I like how I'm like Jim Carrey, and you're like Jim Barrymore. We're both gushing a bit in our own little worlds over here. That's funny.
I like that he has pink hair though.
Anybody ever told you have a serious impulse control problem? Great. The question mark suit, love it. All this shit works
How
for
did
me.
he update
So cool.
that? I mean, it's good he updated that because the other contraption was.
Here's the other question:
all over
how
the
did he
place.
get his hair like that all of a sudden? Did he just do his own hair? I mean, we're asking questions that don't make sense in this movie that doesn't care about those questions.
Yeah,
But
both their hairs are pink.
I do feel like there's a little bit of not Robert, what's his name? Oh my God. Hold on a second. I'm completely blanking because I'm buzzed a little.
Isn't this basically also
Really
a subliminal
Australian
message
Friday?
about?
Television and
Yeah.
stuff? I mean, I guess, kind of.
How does he get his little mask to stay on? Looks like glasses.
It does. It does completely look like glasses. Is it glue? I think it's glue. I mean, for the purpose of the movie, I think it's glued to his face. For the
maybe
purpose
it's
of the
double-sided
character,
tape.
I don't. Yeah, maybe. Is everybody paying attention? I love that part. Oh my God, I can't believe Frank Gorshin. Jesus, I can't believe. I'm sorry, Frank Gorshin. R.I.P. I do feel a little bit of Frank Gorshin in his performance here.
Riddles. Who
is Batman?
I'm glad you didn't say who is the Batman because
Oh, I like when they call him the Batman. I think that's cool
Really?
because he's a legend. I like when criminals don't even know what the hell the Batman is. They're like, oh, the Batman. It's like there's the Bigfoot or whatever. You know what I mean? He's an urban legend, is what he starts out as in some of these movies. In the '89 one, in Batman Begins, even. Oh man, this scene is so great. Frank Gorshin. I see a little bit of Frank Gorshin's performance as the Riddler in here, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Carrey looked to the Adam West show for inspiration, Because Frank Gorshin's Riddler is also similarly kind of ridiculously over the top.
Oh, this is fun.
The
Yeah,
martial arts laundry thing? Jesus. Is it fun? I mean, I feel like this is one of the more dated scenes in the movie. You're like, why do we need to know that he's, I guess because we know he can fight because he knows how to spin pants
look at
really
how
well.
much he's trying to save on electricity. And
And he does this wink thing that I guess was for teenage girls to be like, he's so dreamy. And as me as a 12-year-old boy, I'm like, why did I just watch you throw your wet pants on a clothesline? I guess. That's weird. So there's a thing in these Batman sequels. The first one was Joker. The second one, they felt like they had to bring two villains. And then that's the pattern that all the movies.
The Riddler doesn't know how to punch people?
No,
Oh.
he's not mastermind. The other one's the brawn. He's the brains. Reach way back.
So
and
they're just
assert yourself.
basically standing there?
Ow.
The guards are just standing there being like, yeah, sure, punch me. It's fine.
I look at the Tommy Lee Jones with the earrings on. Riddler's got a tiara. What do you feel about the fact that all the Batman in the 90s Batman sequels felt like they had to stick to the two villain kind of template. You know, the first one we had Joker. Obviously Joker doesn't need any help. Second one we have Penguin and Catwoman. Third one we have Riddler and Two-Face. Fourth one we have Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy and kind of Bane, but I'm not even going to count that because that shit is a mess.
Is he going to Hallmark?
How do you feel about the fact that those three movies basically follow the same storyline? Batman pisses two villains off. They're like, why don't we both team up to take out Batman? And they're like, yeah, let's do that.
Teamwork makes a dream work.
I know, but generally, how do you feel? Do you like that? Do you think it works? Do you think it makes these movies feel overstuffed that they have more than multiple villains?
I think really why they did that is because there are so many villains and
There
they wanted
are shit ton of
and they
Batman
wanted
villains.
to kind of cover the best ones and
the most known ones.
yeah,
I think
that's what I meant. And get that out there first.
They're like, we ain't got time to make. What is MCU up to? 23 movies.
And look at this. Now he
looks like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, he's so like charming and
But you know what he's trying to do?
get smarter and smarter.
No. Yeah, yes, obviously.
over.
No, he later on has a fake mole because he's trying to look like Bruce. He's trying to be Bruce Wayne.
Oh, wacko.
You know, people say about Liar Liar, they're like, what is up with this movie where Carrie Elways is trying to do Jim Carrey? Where he's like, Fletcher, nice to see you, or whatever. You notice that in that movie?
Yeah.
In this movie, Jim Carrey's trying to be Val Kilmer. He's like dresses like him. I think he even has the same glasses as in that scene, in the party scene coming up. It's really funny. He's like single white female-ing Bruce Wayne in this movie. That's cool. That's some cool, crazy comic book bullshit.
That looks like a smoothie.
The fact that he does, it
blender.
looks delicious.
I always thought that. I'm like, looks like a blender.
What is it? Tropical Cafe smoothie that has the avocado?
Yes.
That looks like the green, and the blender makes me want that shit now.
Too bad they're closed.
But it's like 10:38 Eastern Standard
It
Time.
looks like his knees, but now it's...
That looks uncomfortable. Here's the other thing. Is that thing made of stone or is it covered in a sheet? It looks like it's covered in a sheet.
It looks like it's in a sheet.
Why is he just in a recliner covered in a sheet? Why covered in a sheet?
Maybe he has a dog.
Is he is he like a grandma and he's worried about the upholstery? You know, that's like a cliche back in the day. The grandma have it covered in plastic. Do people still do that?
Yes.
Oh, they cover it in plastic? I don't know. We don't have a pet. We have a child. We have a toddler, which is worse than a pet because she requires more attention. Robin's going to stop that. Look, there he goes. He's using his acrobatic thing.
Wow. It's pretty impressive, dude.
It's not Chris O'Donnell doing any of that, but okay.
No.
Whoa, I fell into the bat cave.
Wow.
I don't mind Chris
my
O'Donnell.
God, dude.
Ow, that would look like it would hurt.
Yeah, right?
I don't mind. That's like some Death Becomes Her shit. You pushed me down the stairs. Oh my God. That's a commentary movie, right?
I think you could put a lot of movies on a list. For
But
commentary.
that movie is weird enough that you're like, I got shit to say about this.
Actually, it was a movie I think about regarding
Death Becomes Her
green
is
screen.
great.
Then Meryl Streep is like, I don't like these movies.
She's like, yeah,
doing
I don't want to
movies like this.
I don't want to do visual effects. This is stupid. I do like Chris O'Donnell in this movie. I do think he feels like a little too old to be playing who is essentially supposed to be a child, basically, in this movie. But I do like him. I do think he works in this. Again, I agree with you. I think Batman and Robin kind of soured everybody on Chris O'Donnell, on his Robin, on Batman. I mean, that movie killed the Batman movie.
The first time she's not wearing black.
Was she wearing like a red,
Like
maroon?
a dark red.
Like a maroon style?
Yeah.
What a maroon. Bugs Bunny reference.
God, he's so much trauma.
He's like, I'm so bummed out.
That's what her trauma is.
Hey Bruce, how's it going? How you feeling today?
No, we don't know anything about her.
No, not really.
But you never get to know anything
Well,
about
no, that's
Batman's
that's the thing in a lot of these movies. You know, the female characters are very flat, which is again why Selena Kyle is probably the most interesting. We understand her more. We get a little
look
bit.
at Nicole Kidman now. Now all of her movies, her TV shows
Oh,
are all
yeah.
about feminism and like being a strong, progressive female protagonist. And I mean, she's strong.
She kinda
but
looks-
still one dimensional.
She's kind of aged.
not really.
Really awesome. Like she barely looks the same. She barely looks. This is 25 years ago. She looks maybe she's aged, maybe, and this is a big maybe. This is a Batman Forever size maybe 10 years, and that's even that is like I don't know. She's like what in her 50s?
Yeah.
She looks younger than us, and we're almost 37. Well, you in like an hour and 20 minutes, 37. I forgot what I was gonna say, but yes, I agree with you.
I was
I
so
like her in
surprised when
this.
I heard that she was Australian because I'm like, if all these movies she does,
Yeah, she always plays American. You know what movie I don't think I've never seen, and I don't know if you've seen. Have you ever seen To Die For?
I have. I don't remember it that much.
We
though.
should watch that then because I've never
I didn't
seen
like
it.
it.
Well, that
Matt
you didn't
Dillon,
like it
right?
as as a 12-year-old, as a 37-year-old.
I don't know if I was. I don't know how old.
That was 95 when it
I
came
didn't
out. 95, 96.
I think it was. Like
That was like her first movie where people were like,
in
"Wait
my
a minute."
teens.
That was one of the first movies where people were like, "Wait a minute, Nicole Kidman can act." That was like the first movie she got a Golden Globe nomination, I think, for and stuff like that. That was her breakout as someone other than Tom Cruise's wife, basically.
Okay, wait. Oh, I thought he was gonna say I gave you just a Batman because I am Batman, but he didn't.
No. She didn't find that out until the end, almost. I'm gonna check on my Nicole Kidman.
So I don't get it, Chase Meridian. Are you into Bruce Wayne or not?
I mean, she's not. She's getting there. Okay, she was nominated for Billy Bathgate in the early '90s, but then after that, To Die For.
That's a movie.
Yeah, I've heard of that movie, but I never saw it. And is it one of the Baldwins in that? Who is it? No,
they don't really.
Dustin Hoffman. What the hell was I
It's
thinking?
still only Alec Baldwin now that's acting.
And then the rest of the Baldwins are a hot mess, basically. Not the rest of the Baldwins are not fit for our current woke culture, and I say that because I think woke is a good thing, not because I think it's a curse word.
Oh God! And how many hints? Yeah, how many hints does he have to give him? Oh,
She's like, wait a minute, that kiss felt like Batman. The other car, the other white meat. I like Michael.
it's
Go
like
look,
three
the other car. Furrowed, the super,
With the furrowed
the
brow.
the biggest eyebrows of all time.
it looks like a bat. God,
The loving who
He's-
wants to cook a
he's-
ride
he's-
in my love
he's-
machine, baby.
this scene is so dumb.
I do, like I said,
He's such a punk.
if they decide that's what's her name, who was on All My Children. She
Who?
played Greenlee on All My Children, Rebecca Budig or whatever. She became a big star like 5 years after this on soap operas.
Oh. In 2000.
Full confession, full story, whatever. I used to watch ABC soaps back in the day. Like I was big into General Hospital with my parents. Port Charles, I watched.
One Life to Live.
I watched
Days of Our Lives.
all 6 years of Port Charles, which was the General Hospital spinoff, in which halfway through its run decided to be like, you know what? Why don't we do time travel and vampires and shit? They did that, and it was fun. I liked it a lot. Caleb Morley was the character's name.
So these people go out on the street.
the storyline was called Tainted Love. Good shit.
A weeknight and with face paint.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is the bad part of town, where people dress up like they're in the circus for some reason.
It is very interesting.
Those are the
style.
gangs. Look, it's all
And,
like basically
really colorful tires.
basically the this part of Gotham City is like the back section in Spencer's Gift.
Yeah, it's a rave.
It's
a
all
street
that
rave.
you go to the back section of Spencer's Gifts and like everything is glow in the dark for some reason.
Oh God, shut up, dude. Oh,
Do they?
Batman.
No, he
Such a
wishes.
punk.
So I got my suit. No, you're too young to be Batman. You're a baby kid, even though you look like you're 35. What?
So he's
do
an
they-
acrobat. He can also fight.
Here's a question. I know it's quarantine right now and everything. Well, not right now. It's not quarantine. It should be, but it's not. But it's COVID time. When was the last time you walked to the back of Spencer's Gifts? And didn't it look like this? Do you remember all the glow-in-the-dark paint?
I kind of do remember that.
Forever, right? It's been forever since you... We have a toddler. We don't go into that
Seriously, I
store.
don't think I've been in the mall for like a year.
It's been
Because I'm...
something like that.
I mean, I know you went more recently than me, but...
Yeah, but even for me, it's been a while.
And Spencer's Gift, like, you can't go in there with a child.
No, and
So-
not on the back. It's all like bachelorette
So
style
one
shit.
thing I like about
Everything's
these
shaped like a
movies,
penis.
though, is that they use more like martial arts type stuff instead of guns.
Right, but I mean,
Which is why it
doesn't
was so surprising when you showed me Batman Beyond. He's like with a gun. I'm like, holy
Batman
cow.
Beyond? What did I show you
Wait,
with the
no,
gun?
geez.
Batman Begins,
The one with the animated one.
Dark Knight Rises or Returns, Dark Knight Returns,
But yeah. And he has
or
the gun.
Batman Flashpoint Paradox, or Justice League Flashpoint
Oh,
Paradox.
dude. I
Because
don't
that's
know. I
the
think it was
Thomas
Flashpoint.
Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with
he's
the gun,
like
I'm
he's like I
holy
don't give a
cow.
shit. And you're like
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I like that they use martial arts.
Yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom now. Can you talk about Chris O'Donnell and where Chris O'Donnell was at this point in his career? At this point,
Yeah, Chris
Where was he?
O'Donnell was at a really high point. He was in another movie with Drew Barrymore, Mad Love.
oh God, I never saw that.
I need to show it
Of
to you.
course
It's
you did.
on the list.
Of course you saw that.
So they were already friends.
I'll be right back.
And he was really at a high point. And but it's weird I would mention Mad Love because that one wasn't that didn't do that well at the box office. But he was in like a romantic drama or something like that, and so he was kind of at the high point of his career. And then he did Batman and Robin, and well, that was it. You know, but he seems like a nice guy, and it's a shame that his career seemed to be going down. I like his leather jacket though. That's cool. So I think it's Dick Grayson, and that has a leather jacket. I didn't know if Chase Marini had a leather jacket. I thought she did, but yeah, everybody in these movies wears the gloves without fingertips. I mean, I guess I get it for him because he's riding a bike, but I don't know why Two-Face has one.
What did I miss?
Oh, he's saying you gotta help me find him.
No, what did I miss? What did you say?
I'm saying that he was kind of at a high point of his career, but I wasn't able to name the movies. And
He was in Three Musketeers, the Disney version that I
yeah,
keep trying to
yeah.
get you to watch, but you're like Charlie Sheen. No thanks. Not into Tiger Blood.
Yeah, no, Chris O'Donnell.
Not a bad choice for Robin. Did you know Marlon Wayans almost starred in this movie as Robin?
Oh, really?
Yeah, which would have been interesting. I don't know. It's hard to picture Marlon Wayans, scary movie, haunted house, whatever. Marlon Wayans as Robin, but he's done.
Did he not do his research?
What did he say?
He said your family wasn't killed by a maniac.
Yeah, he doesn't know that.
I know. He has long eyelashes.
Train me. Let me be your partner. He's not my kid though, just so you know. I know long eyelashes is like my thing.
Val Kilmer, though, he has very strong features.
I know. Good choice physically for Batman. I think you make a
he's
good
kinda
point
pretty.
earlier. Yeah, he is. He's got. I don't want to say anything that's going to be offensive, but yeah, he does. He is kind of have nice features for Batman. And now that you mentioned it, he does seem a little bit checked out
Yes.
in this performance.
Why do you
I
think
never
that
really
is?
noticed that. I feel like I didn't
notice it until this.
I
we were
feel
watching
like
this time.
I feel like I didn't notice it because
I
Batman.
love it. She has got a little like.
I feel like I didn't notice it
Show
because
thing.
Batman generally is just like I don't really care about this shit. I
What's
just
with
want
the
to
What's with the
crime.
necklace, dude? All right.
Ritz Gotham.
course. Why do you-
Neon lights for
Oh,
some reason on the.
Why do you
intro.
think he's checked out? Was he on drugs?
I mean,
alcohol?
I think he's just like I don't like this director. I don't want to be here. Fuck this. I hope this is good for my career, but that's about it. Look, there he goes.
And he makes a girl his date.
Huh. Well, he's not gonna take the scary version of Debbie Mazur out there.
She's too bad she didn't have much to do. She basically just stands around and looks pretty.
I know. Well, wasn't this when she was like?
She's 20.
When was she? What was like? Drew Barrymore's entire life story. So when was like the dark period of her like drug addiction
Oh,
and stuff?
well before this. Like
So
5 years before this. Well, oh
how's my?
God.
See, he's got a fake mole. How's my mole?
Yeah, 5 to 7 years before this.
So this was
Gee,
like.
that's crazy.
So maybe this was like her.
Come back.
Yeah, her trying to come back. She's trying to work her way back. So she's like, I'll be the like 12th lead in this movie or whatever.
Jim Carrey's a handsome guy.
We see he's got the fake Bruce Wayne mole. Generally outdone in every way. Everything he says is Ace Ventura to me. Really?
I'm That's the
which
thing,
is
like,
why
Jim Carrey,
obviously
he has so much expression. And
Yes. Oh,
overacts.
God,
He
so
still
much.
is a good-looking.
Yeah.
A good-looking guy.
what a grand pursuit you must
And he
be.
kind of looks like who he looks like. He looks like Fletcher Reed from Liar Liar.
Kind of. Well, that was, why you feel that way, probably because Fletcher Reed was like the first normal person he played in these movies. I mean, he plays, I guess, Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask, but he spent most of half of his screen time being all like wacky in there. Holographic fantasies. Sorry, I quote him a lot. But there's a reason, listeners, that this version of the podcast started with Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, is I guess my major point. This is the third Jim Carrey movie I think I've covered, because he did Ace Ventura, and then I did Man on the Moon. I did an episode on that, and then this one, I think. And yeah, so more Jim Carrey stuff. I need to cover more of that. Let's see.
So he just got a lot of money very quickly, huh?
Well, he's stealing information from people, and he's hanging out with Two-Face, robbing like jewelry stores and
That's
shit.
true. Good point.
That was the whole plan. You helped me steal production capital. Yeah, see the glasses. He's got the exact same glasses. Yeah, and you wish you'd thought of it, Brucey.
How does he know he has glasses? He's,
Everybody
what,
knows.
am I,
Look.
Like what?
He takes his glasses off too.
Oh my god.
I love it. I love
White
it.
Filmon's a great
It's
movie, by the way.
It is a great movie. You showed me that. I hadn't seen that.
Whoa.
Too timid to try my machine. Just say so. Sorry, I'm gonna try not to do that the whole movie.
It's funny that Chase Meridian's was supposed to be into Batman because she's hasn't seen him since she called him the Bat Signal.
Edward Nygma was like, I could be a better Bruce Wayne than you. Look, but he's still a
God.
ridiculous dancer.
I really feel like that might be how Jim Carrey dances because I think he's danced like that.
God,
in
that's
other movies.
mean.
That's okay.
No, you know what? I sort of feel like it's kind of the thing that it's the kind of the reason why I don't mind that Spider-Man 3 dance sequence as much as most people, because I feel like Peter Parker is a dork, and if Peter Parker has a symbiote on him, he's not going to instantly know how to be cool. He's going to feel more comfortable being what Peter Parker feels like cool looks like. And he's going to think Saturday Night Fever shit. So that's why I think his dancing makes sense here, because he's trying to be like Bruce Wayne, but inside Edward Nygma is still a very bizarre person. So of course he's going to dance like a little goofball.
Why isn't she watching out for him? Chase Meridian.
I don't think she suspects that he's the Riddler.
He's a creepy guy, though.
Yeah, he's obviously.
You gotta watch yourself around creepy people.
Tell me your
God, I'm blinded
dreams.
here.
Tell me your fantasies. And this is where he gets the information that Bruce Wayne and Batman might be very closely connected. That was going to be a little more mysterious than that, but yes.
God, how late at night is that? Is that like 10 o'clock? No, never mind. That's like 8
Oh, and I like his reaction. Two-Face is like not subtle, thinking things through. He's just like, we're going to go in there with some guns and we're going to fuck things up. And he's like, what are you? Oh, when he gets all like, see, he's like freaking out. No. And then he's like, why are you ruining my party? Are you insane? And he gets all like high pitched and crazy.
Why did they not talk south?
Yeah, well, Two-Face is like a loose cannon in this movie. It's an old-fashioned
Maybe that
low-tech
should be his
stick-up.
name.
Jewelry, cellular telephone, they're not worth enough anymore for you to be into your cellular
Well,
telephones.
he's got to find a way to be in contact with his family.
You know what else is funny? That Two-Face, thank you, Tommy Lee Jones. That was a really kind of impressive ladder slide that Bruce Wayne just did.
That was a ladder?
It was the fire escape ladder. He just went, whee! Just be calm. Look at Yondu over there. One of those band members looks like Yondu with like the pale thing. And I'm like, did you see that?
I didn't see that, no.
Our daughter would be very excited. He said cellular telephones. When was the last time most people have used the word cell phone? I feel like now it's mostly smartphones, isn't it? Have you ever see anything marketed as a cell phone anymore? I feel like we're like, give me my phone.
Yeah.
Or we're like, I'm going to go get a new iPhone, Android, whatever version of a smartphone. I don't feel like the term cellular is kind of passé, right? Which is a bad news for that underrated 2004 thriller starring Chris Evans and Kim Basinger, who was in Batman.
Ooh.
It's a good movie. People go see that. I recommend.
He
I
has to
also wrote a
drink
review
two
of it.
wines.
back in the day.
Was he drinking a white wine and a red wine?
Of course he was. Of course he was. I didn't even notice that. But yes, of course he is. Duh.
Oh no, one's a
One's like a. There's two different kinds of wine though, because
it looks like he's drinking a rosé, like me.
two different kinds of wine because Two-Face has two very distinct but equal tastes apparently.
Dude, Buckingham Palace. That's actually the first reference to the real world, isn't it?
Actually, yes. Lucky just kicks the guy. That's cool. Little Indiana Jones style takedown.
So how come
And look,
every time-
Batman fights this guy. Phase 2 of the MCU.
So do you notice every time she goes in a
Look. She's like,
There he goes.
you just punched that gym dude. I'm so turned on right now. He's like, okay,
So-
let me finish fighting these guys and I'll meet you there.
So did you notice that every time she goes on a date with Bruce Wayne,
Batman shows
she's
up?
in a bad position. She's in a bad position. She goes to the circus with him. People get killed.
Aha!
And Two-Face shows up. Then she goes
Right.
to this with Bruce Wayne, and then
She's very into Batman right now.
poor Bruce Wayne.
I know. She doesn't know how he's not boring. That his whole thing is that he's got
That's
this
what kinda looks like
secretively
Madison Square Garden.
awesome double life. I feel like his suit sometimes looks very close to the Michael Keaton suit. Like right there, it looked pretty close. His suit isn't that much different than the Michael Keaton one.
Yeah,
You know?
it did seem like with all
Until
the
the
other
end.
movies,
Then the end when he gets the new suit. Dun, 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 dun. I love that shot as a kid. Dun, 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 with the music. Dun, 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 dun. I like
that was like something I would go in, like at a bounce house.
it's random. And then like his plan is all these other the bazooka didn't work, so we're gonna drown him with sand. You're gonna put him in a sandbox. I mean, there's gas too. Okay, fair enough. Okay, movie. I'll take it back. But he like basically comes out of this was okay. I'm gonna go on a tangent for this like 600th time tonight. So he like activates this thing in his cape that it becomes like kind of a shield from fire. There was a Super Nintendo game. I don't know if you played it at all. You might have, since it was the highest grossing movie of 1995. A version of this movie, Batman Forever, on Super Nintendo. And I played
Oh God, look at his, now
he's
his eyes
pissed.
look intense.
I played the Batman Forever on Super Nintendo so much. And that was one of the special moves you could do was kind of have him like do the bat shield, which was inspired by that moment in the movie. That was the game, I think, that turned me from a kid that plays with action figures to a kid that plays with video games and doesn't want to do other stuff. In fact, I remember having an argument with my childhood friend who was like, let's play with these figures and do a thing. I'm like, no, dude, I'm playing Batman Forever on Super Nintendo.
I mean, I didn't play games like this, but I had that period of time that I was playing video games a lot with my friends.
Right.
They'd come over and yeah.
Well, I think I'm also maybe in video game minded because we were just at your sister's house and she finally beat Super Mario 3.
Not when we were there.
Not while we were
But
there,
before.
but before, like earlier. And then so they got the little Nintendo Classic or whatever.
Do you think that Batman would have needed Robin's help?
I mean, he looked like he was drowning in sand. That's what I was saying a few minutes ago. Look, he mentions Nightwing. They misspelled Nightwing. It's supposed to be N, not KN. Bad boy, Nightwing. What do you think? What's a good second?
Jeez.
So is he supposed to be like 18, 19?
Yeah, you owe me, so make me a superhero. God.
But I mean, he wants to.
That's creepy, dude.
I'm gonna be right beside him. How are you gonna stop me? And he's like, I gotta stand up for dramatic effect. I can stop you.
He looks so determined.
Hang this next to the Batsuit where it belongs.
Jeez.
Well, he's supposed to be a defiant little.
He's so self-assured.
He's supposed to be a defiant
like?
little shit.
What's that like?
Being self-assured?
Like that?
I mean, were you self-assured as a teenager?
Not like that.
All right, you were probably more self-assured as a teenager than I was. Val Kilmer. You know what else is interesting for the young?
He's not as big as a
I was
Christian Bale.
just about to, you're ahead of me, Kai.
Yeah, like Michael.
Look at
Keaton,
where did he?
Christian
First of all,
Bale
where did he get this
Kilmer.
footage of her fixing her hair or whatever, just like in slow motion? That's a little creepy too. Secondly, you know how now they're like, "Ugh, he better bulk up. He's gonna play Batman or Superman or whatever." Like Henry Cavill has to be like, "Whoosh," in order to play Superman. Back in the day, they were just like, we'll put you in a suit. Don't worry about it, Val Kilmer. He's like, but I like sandwiches. And he's like, don't worry about it. It's all good. We'll like have you suck it in for a second when you have a shirtless scene, and then
She needs a
does
comforter.
she sleep? Is she sleeping in the nude?
I think she is. She needs
I think
a comforter.
she is.
Like that looks
My-
so seductive.
That's
but
my
that
that's
looks
well,
unbelievably
that's the
uncomfortable, too.
idea is that it's well, you know what? It's also this is the other thing that movies fucked up for us. They made these like super sleek sheets look really comfortable when in the actuality they are so slippery that the motherfucker is very. It gives me I'm getting a panic attack thinking about what it's like sleeping in those super. Remember we had those
Oh
like
my God,
insane
no.
thread count sheets. I was like, yeah, it's super sleek, but it's like rubbing up against me like I don't. It's like too slippery. You know what I mean? It's like I'm in a bath. What the hell's happening right now? I don't know.
Oh, so
I've
you
had
do those sheets and do a waterbed, and you're just.
I wanted a waterbed as a kid actually, but then I was like grew up and I was like that sounds terrible.
I have slept in a waterbed.
Oh, look at this, Kai, who's really invested in the romantic subplot. She's like, I've imagined this, and I wanted to get under the Batsuit, but now I'm
It
like,
looks so uncomfortable.
I wanted to like hook up with the other guy now because you. Yeah, see, and now I have you, and I'm thinking, wishing you were somebody.
I forgot that she's
I think
like
I
a
speak
Batman
for-
and not Bruce Wayne.
I speak for guys everywhere. I'm like,
But he's
make up
boring.
your mind. He's like, what am I
he's
supposed
so
to do?
The thing is like
He's like, I'm clearly into you. You're clearly into one of the versions of me. Pick one so we can make this
the
happen.
thing is,
Jesus
but I
Christ.
feel like Bruce Wayne is boring to her.
I mean, I feel like Bruce Wayne is boring generally
I mean,
in
maybe
this
she likes the
movie.
fact that every single time they go out
And look,
on
he
a date-
pretends to be, I understand. He pretends to be upset. And then he turns around and we get one of the best Batman moments in movies, which I use that gif, I feel like every once in a while. One of my most used Batman gifs, right? Bam. A bat smile. He's like, oh yeah, she wants to get with me without the suit. Mission accomplished. And she's like, I can't believe I let that happen. I was all ready to be his bat lady. And then here he goes. I like Riddler has like a little throne for himself, which I think is interesting too. And they're both the thinker.
Yeah, so how
I
many
guess.
outfits? How many
Riddler outfits
costumes
does he have?
Yeah.
He's got the leotard, and then he's got the suit, and then later he has the white suit with the like really out there hair. So at least 3 Riddler
So
suits.
that's a wig.
Yeah, I think so.
That very easily could
It's
have
like-
just been his hair.
Pasted on because they shoot movies out of sequence, obviously. So he could have shot this scene and then the next day shot the scene at the party. So if they dye Jim Carrey's hair orange, 1, Jim Carrey has to live his life off the set with orange hair. And 2, if they shoot the next scene the next day, how's that gonna work? That's like orange. No, it's like orange. I think it's supposed to be like orange. I always thought it was like orange. I heard you did say about pink hair earlier.
So they found out.
I always
So
thought it
they
was
figured
orange.
out he's Batman. Did you know that?
I did. Everybody knows that.
Except the
Except-
people in the movie.
Except for the Well, Selena Kyle finds out, and then I don't think Penguin finds out.
There's actually a crowd article I just read. that
Joker
was talking
finds
about
out,
that
but
there's
not really.
There's 31 people in these movies that know that he's Batman, and maybe 9 others.
In these
Like in
4
all,
Batman,
No, in all the movies.
you need to send me that because I want to
Yeah.
read it. Why
Because
didn't you?
it was
Okay,
like movie-
one,
It's like trivia.
1, send me that. 2, I'm a little offended that you read that and didn't think to send me that.
Sorry, I know.
Considering like I'm
thoughtless
all
I
about
am.
Batman.
No, I
That's
feel
my.
thoughtless. Well, because it was just one. It was one little snippet. It wasn't. the
I don't
whole-
care. I'm kind of interested to
It
read
wasn't the
this
whole
right now.
article or anything.
In all of the movies, I could see that. Alfred, obviously multiple versions of Alfred. Robin, the JGL air quotes Robin. Rachel Dawes, Lucius
2 different
Fox.
Rachel Dawes.
Oh, I mean, did they count them as separate? They're one character.
I know.
It's not even 2
different
versions of the
actresses.
same character. Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah. Yeah.
I know. I said, well, yeah, like 3 times. But I was going to say Maggie Gyllenhaal was much better in her limited. But Katie Holmes is. You read that cast list for Batman Begins, and at some point, I'm sure we'll cover the Dark Knight movies on this podcast. You read that cast list for Batman Begins, you're like, yeah, Christian Bale, cool. Morgan Freeman, all right. Michael Caine, Gary Oldman, Liam Neeson, Cillian Murphy, Rutger Hauer. And then you get to Katie Holmes, you're like, what the fuck? Joey from Dawson's Creek. I don't know. I'm sure she's a very nice person. She just stands out in that movie, and it's a little distracting. Maggie Gyllenhaal, I think, holds her own a little bit more with what she's given there. And look, he's got there's the Robin suit next to the Batsuit where it belongs. Jeez. Clearly, Alfred's on it. So I don't know. Didn't he tell him to hang it next to the Batsuit? It looks like Alfred just threw the shit on the mantle. He's like, there you go. It's fine. You're good.
He's like, what the hell is this?
And that's the Burt Ward. That's what I was saying earlier. That's basically the Burt Ward Batman Robin suit. What he's wearing in his early scenes. So look, she's ready to say, hey, I'm into Bruce Wayne now. And he's ready to say, that's good because I'm also Batman. So this works out well. You got to pay attention. Look for it later.
So is this Halloween now?
This is what gave it away? The trick or treat?
I mean, I just like that normally, but.
You just normally walk up to people's houses and be like, trick or treat.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. You know what else that I'm realizing?
I'm just kidding, guys.
Because I saw, like I said, I started to say earlier, Facebook, I saw something earlier today that Spirit, the Halloween store, might not open anything this year and they might just do online orders. And I'm like, I feel like Halloween is canceled.
If Spirit's not showing up?
I mean, yeah, but also like who is going to feel, we live in Florida for people listening and who don't know that. Who in this state is going to feel comfortable walking up to random houses and taking stuff from them and opening those things and putting them in their mouth on like from multiple places, not just like DoorDash or whatever. Like, I don't think I'm going to want to do that. I feel like we're going to do trick or treating at my parents' house or something with our daughter is what's going to happen.
Hello.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm your
I'm your Nana and Papa. Yeah.
I know.
Look. These two are gonna go in there, and they're like,
they're so colorful.
Happy Halloween. Why? See, why did Riddler embrace him like that? It's interesting. I don't know. It's an interesting take on Edward Nygma, and I'm into it.
Well, it's really kind of been the only take other than the TV show.
No, Edward Nygma was Frank Gorshin on Adam West.
Okay, all right.
Oh crap. Corey Michael Smith. I'm glad I remember that. Send it to me. That doesn't help me. Send it to me. Corey Michael Smith. I'm doing a podcast right now. I'm not going to read it while we're talking about it.
It's the number one.
It's true. Corey Michael Smith on Gotham, who I know I mentioned Robin Lord Taylor earlier. I want to point out Corey Michael Smith, probably close to Robin Lord Taylor as the best part of that show. You remember when I was watching Gotham and covering it for Screen Rant?
That show's weird.
That show was weird, but also very entertaining at times. And a lot of it is because of those two actors.
Wait, so
Robin Lord Taylor as Penguin. Corey Michael Smith as Riddler. Those two actors were even when the show was like, wait, what's happening? Those two actors were into it and they were on board and committed to the role and so fun to watch every single time. And they had like a frenemy relationship where they were like friends until they decided to turn against each other kind of thing.
Wait, didn't Penguin lie to Riddler about something?
All the time, but like at some point, Penguin kind of had romantic feelings, it seemed like, for Riddler.
I remember that.
Which that's what made me think. That's why this moment with Riddler embracing Two-Face made me think of Gotham and their interpretation of the characters. And I'm not a huge fan of the way that Gotham's finale basically jumped ahead and was like, here's what they turn out to be. And I feel like the whole last season of that show was kind of a mess. But generally, I really love those performances.
This is a kid from Batman. Like, I remember him.
From what Batman?
Just this kid. He's the one I remember. I guess because there's more of a story.
As what? From these early movies?
Yeah.
As young Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
See, you know what the funny thing is? I'm going to confess this on the podcast.
Kind of.
I'm going to confess this on the podcast. One thing that I really tend to do, I have a lot of anxiety issues and stuff. So I tend to be on my phone late at night and unable to sleep. And I do find myself on Cameo.com just randomly looking at places, at people. They do have David Masseuse, however you say his name, the kid that played Bruce Wayne on Gotham. They have him on there. So when I think of young Bruce Wayne, now I think of him. Because I watched that show for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So he's on Cameo. So if you want him to wish you a happy birthday tomorrow, I don't know if he's going to record it.
I should have him wish you a happy birthday.
Technically, it's a happy birthday from Batman.
That's true.
So I mean, Michael Keaton.
He looks like he's never been kissed before.
Michael Keaton. Well, no, she's realizing it's Batman. That's a classic '90s bullshit. Like, first, okay, we'll get there.
Falling for this, Alfred?
Twick. He says Twick. He says it like with with an accent. Twick. So Michael Keaton's not on Cameo, so I guess that's the closest you can get right now to have someone that has played Batman wish you a happy birthday. Technically, David Masseuse wishing you a happy birthday. Hi, I'm Batman, and I'm wishing you a happy birthday. Oh my God, we're about to get some Jim Carrey shit here.
Wow, cool little gadget. Yeah,
Also, I was gonna say,
I don't think this is a good night for Bruce Wayne to leave his house.
Spank Me. That feels like a Jim Carrey edition because he was like, "Spank you, Greenwell."
Oh, he didn't leave. Okay. I guess I missed that. I forgot they were at his house.
That poor sofa got flipped over.
That's what I'm saying. Every single time she's with him, shit
Something happens. Yeah. Well, that's for the purposes of okay. I had something I wanted to say about the Chase and Bruce stuff, but fuck that because Jim Carrey doing his Jim Carrey. This is like this day on set must have been a blast because this is basically just Jim.
Tommy Lee Jones.
No, well, Tommy Lee Jones isn't in the scene. That's what I was saying. That's where I was getting to. This is basically Jim Carrey on a soundstage being like, "Now that's impressive," just like going as big as possible. Throwing bombs in the Batmobile and be like, "Somebody tell the fat lady she's on in 5," and things like that.
Does the house look much different from the Batman house?
I don't know if they redesigned it. They must. I think they redesigned everything in here. First, introducing a tamed animal into with little bat bombs. They may have difficult. I'm ahead of the movie now. Look at the posing he does when he does the bomb. Oh God! See the way. That's what I'm saying. His crazy manner. They may have trouble adapting to their new environment.
Yeah, I know. I feel like a lot of this is starting to be improv.
Well, the delivery is definitely improv. I feel like Joel Schumacher was just like, "All right, Jim, here are the lines. You just do you." And he's like, "They may have trouble adapting to their new environment." Love that shit. All of this.
Jim Carrey's trauma, because they talk about how a lot of comedians have some form of trauma.
Yeah.
I know his dad died, and that's kind of what that bit is for him to want to be like that actor that had $20 million.
You still haven't seen Man on the Moon, but I think we should watch Man on the Moon, and then I think you should watch Jim and Andy, which is the documentary about what it was like for him making that movie, because I think it gives you an interesting insight into that experience of Jim Carrey making that movie. And I mean, I think a lot of that's the thing. Like, you immediately jump to, first of all, the Batmobile once again, that's the spin that made me want to spin pens in my hand at AMC, but joygasm. But also the Batmobile got destroyed, and that's why he has a new Batmobile in Batman and Robin. Like, you can kind of story-wise, logistically be like, okay, that's why they redesigned it. But also, I think you jump to trauma automatically, and I think a lot of times it doesn't necessarily have to be something terrible that happened. It could be like, you're dealing. I mean, to my knowledge, never had anything particularly terrible happen. Like, I wasn't like assaulted or abused or anything, that's to my knowledge. And, obviously all my empathy to people that have been, but, I've dealt with anxiety and depression and things like that, like a lot of people have. And I think that's trauma, but I don't think but when you say trauma, I know we're way off the movie at this point, but when you say trauma, you won't learn nothing. When you say trauma, I think like, a parent died, or like my uncle like abused me, or
we all have trauma. We all have an element.
I lived in a foster home and whatever, or something. I think something really dramatic when you say that trauma, and I feel like everybody reacts to things differently, and that's why it's so crazy in these times to comment on to comment on my or anyone else's trauma, because there's such serious things happening in the world that are really fucked up and that are legitimate trauma, that for me to be like, sometimes I get sad, it sometimes seems silly in comparison because of some of the things that are out there, which is why a lot of times I tend to be a little cagier about those struggles, just because it feels like in context, it feels like it's not really worth mentioning in a way.
I could see that. No, I mean, we all have trauma. What I mean by trauma is that a lot of times comedians are attracted to comedy because
as an escape,
because they're sad inside. I mean, look what happened with Robin Williams.
I know, that's
all
still
happy and
upsetting.
And like, and I think there is a lot of truth to that those that are attracted to comedy have like a deep-seated like depression, anxiety, and
I forgot about the light up question mark jacket when we were talking about his costume changes. I forgot about this one. Like the jacket.
so now he has a couch.
Yes.
Jeez.
I didn't mean to cut your question out. Your yes, but yes, I know. I agree 100%.
You make a good point.
But I think that trauma doesn't necessarily have to be something very like a single traumatic event that happened to you, like a parent abandoned me or something. It could be just the way you react to things, the way that you responded emotionally to. Yeah, I love that.
And that's what I mean is that we all have our own element of trauma.
Trauma is subjective.
Exactly.
And that doesn't mean because you've endured something that objectively is worse than someone else, that doesn't mean that other person's trauma.
Look at how nice his riddles are now.
I know. They're so well constructed. It's like stepped up his game. He subcontracted out the design work or something. It doesn't mean that just because someone else has it worse doesn't mean that your struggle is any less valid, I guess is my point. It does feel that way, and it feels funny to bring things up when you're like, I'm sad because my boss doesn't appreciate me, or because I'm trying to hit these goals and I can't get my shit together. Meanwhile, this other person has dealt with like horrific events or whatever. I don't want to get into specific things because it's upsetting. This is stupid.
This is what he's doing right now.
The MAHE.
Where he hasn't figured out yet. But this reminds me of what we did when we did an escape room, guys. It was pandemic.
We did the escape room
in like January. So
yeah, it's our fault. I'm sorry.
We made it happen. But Mr. E. But
it's another word for mystery, okay? Enigma. Mr. Enigma.
But this is what happened in the pandemic room when we were reading the numbers. I thought of this. I think I was subconsciously thinking of this movie with the numbers.
Perhaps 1 and 8 are 18, okay? All the bats just destroyed, and that's the cool thing that I like about what the Riddler did here is they found out who Batman is, and then they invaded his shit and they destroyed his Batmobile. They destroyed a lot of his Batsuits. Like most of his stuff is. Yeah, I know. Is
that a zipper?
I don't know, but this is the beginning. This movie is the beginning of this movie and Batman Returns both start with, hey, look at his pecs. Hey, look at his ass. Hey, look at his penis spot or whatever I'm gonna call it.
Oh, yeah, they do that to women all the time.
Well, no, but I know, but it's weird. Like it's stupid.
Why does he have to have a new suit?
So he can be armored, so he can match Batman. Who's your tailor?
I actually like Dick Grayson's suit.
What's the R stand for? Robin. Why is it? First of all, multiple things. Robin is weirdly related to Robin Williams that we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. But secondly, a robin is a bird. Why would a bird be hanging out with a bat? That doesn't make any sense because they fly. Birds don't hang out with bats. If we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of it,
is a very strong name.
No, it's lame. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's
R.I.P.
also
Robin
from
Williams.
The characters too, you know.
Right. R.I.P. Robin Williams and How I Met Your Mother's Robin Scherbatsky, and any other Robins that I can think of, which I can't. I haven't
met a Robin in a long time.
I don't know if I've ever met. Well, yeah, I went to high school with some Robins and stuff, but they were mostly girls.
What about Cardinal? Why does nobody like the name Cardinal?
Yeah, right. Blue Jay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Jay. We were just talking about Tony Jay from Hunchback earlier today. But I wanted to say something about the Chase Meridian thing. So Chase Meridian kisses Bruce Wayne. Is like, wait a minute, you kiss exactly like Batman. That was a big thing back in the. I don't know how much superhero movies and or shows you watched back in the day, but the love interest discovers the superhero's identity because he kisses the same as the superhero was a huge. Lois and Clark did that. Spider-Man 2 did that. Well, Spider-Man, actually, the end of the first Spider-Man, she's kind of like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And then she's like testing it on her boyfriend, the hell's his name? J. Jonah Jameson's son, who she's engaged to in Spider-Man 2. She's like,
astronaut?
Kiss me upside down. Now let me see if you feel like Spider-Man. She's like, no, you're not Spider-Man. Fuck. I might have to hook up with Tobey Maguire, even though apparently he was an asshole back in the day.
I forgot. She really thought he was Spider-Man?
She's like testing. That's a great movie. We'll get there. As someone who is a female and who...
That gets a lot of attention. You know, they would have wanted to mute that a little bit.
I know. Well, here they're going to play Battleship. So clearly, nothing in this movie is subtle storytelling.
It's
is
a
not
fun game. It's nice that game
It is. We have it in the closet.
I know.
As someone who is a lady and who, spoilers for, I guess, my real life and also our next episode, talking about the 40-year-old virgin. Does that make sense to you? Would a woman know the difference, as someone who has kissed more people than me? would a woman know the difference? Recognize, wait a minute, you're this other guy because you kissed the same.
I have to say, I've never been in this situation before.
Obviously with a superhero, but does that make sense from your
No,
perspective?
not
Does that
really.
make sense that
It's
someone would be like,
definitely romantic.
wait a minute, this is just like you taste like Batman, or you have the same kissing technique as Batman? Does that make sense to you as a lady who's kissed more people than I
No,
have?
it doesn't make sense.
Okay. So it's just a lame ass narrative. But it's
it's kind of silly. itself.
okay. Especially it's not like she was like in a long-term relationship with Batman and like, wait a minute, you're Batman. It was she kissed Batman like one time and then she's like, this is just like the other guy, the other day.
Wishful thinking.
It's weird. Anyway, I love that they're playing Battleship and they're actually hunting down Batman and Robin in their little ships. That's pretty good stuff. Bonus and things. See, so you get some Batwing, you get some Batboat, you get Jim Carrey screaming, "I got him! I got him!" So you get the variety of vehicles. I forgot I kind of missed to comment on that on the moment where Batman is like, "Are we gonna go by sea or by air?" And then Robin shows up and says, "How about both?" Because in true Adam West style fashion, he's got a Batmobile, he's got a Bat plane, he's got a Bat boat, he's got a Bat copter, he's got everything that you can think of with the word Bat in the front of
This
it.
is how he's spending Wayne Enterprises' money.
Yeah, basically. Some of it is his profits, at least.
Isn't
He's
Wayne
a billionaire.
Enterprises,
He's got a lot to do.
militant Stuff?
I don't know. According to this movie, at least, stop eating enough. According to this movie, it seems like it's more technology and stuff. I don't think he's full on Stark Industries style where he's like, we're going to sell weapons to people.
I think I'm thinking of the Christopher Nolan ones.
Oh, yeah. They did some military stuff in that.
It is weird kind of makeup. He looks very pasty.
Yes, right?
Yeah,
Why does he
it's
look
not-
so different? I mean, again, not trying to play. Oh, here's their Burt Ward. Holy rusted metal, Batman.
Where is this coming from? Why is this sudden it's all they're doing this?
Because I think Joel Schumacher was just anxious to make it very obvious that we're going for an Adam West style thing. Because, that was the Robin thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Holy whatever, Batman.
Yeah. It just kind of feels like it came out of nowhere.
Which is weird. There was several seasons, 3 long seasons of that show or whatever. But when I did that, the first thing that popped into my head was the Eminem show. And like, holy unlyrical lyrics, Andre, was the first thing that popped into my head.
Oh.
In business. You never got that?
I never got it.
Oh my gosh.
You hadn't entered my life.
Wow.
Yet. I hadn't seen Adam West
And that's
movie.
they also used that idea in the Without Me video because he's dressed up like Robin and Batman.
Yeah. Now that's what I'm saying. Now I get
Oh,
it.
wow. Okay. I'm glad I could clear that up for you. I have to go to the bathroom
Eminem
again.
was being silly.
He is. Well, usually. He is. So he's about to go in there and find out that he's got some bizarre... first Two-Face. Comment on Tommy Lee Jones and his ridiculous overacting while I go bathroom. Sorry, listeners, but I'm not a player.
Can't hold a
I'm not a player. I just peel it. Go ahead.
Yeah, he drank tequila, so
I did, and
Triple
iced
sec.
tea, which is mostly water, and triple. Yeah.
Yeah, quit it. You just dived yourself out.
I did.
It's kind of a cool looking island though, like made out of metal. I like Robin's costume. It's cool. Like it's definitely a lot better than the other one he had as the acrobat with his family. So it's good that they cleaned that up. I forget though if this is what they were wearing in Batman and Robin, and if it had like that level of continuity. Justice is served. What? Why would he say let us die? Wouldn't he want to save himself? Isn't that what this is about? To do one over on Batman? What's your deal, Two-Face? Aw, good job, Robin. To save his life. Yeah, Yep. That's the type of integrity that Batman has, too. How lame. The Bat. Wow. See, I knew he was up to something, because that's really strange. He'd be like, oh, yeah, killed me.
Riddler, Two-Face, who?
Two-Face. He's like, I'd rather die. And then,
Oh.
of course, Robin's like,
Oh,
saves him.
you also knew he was up to something because you've seen this 400 times.
Yeah, that too. But it's been a while.
Do you like that? First of all,
okay, I don't think we've seen this movie since before we lived in this house.
oh
We
yeah,
lived in this house for
together,
6
yeah,
years.
together. But from 1995 until 2010 or whatever, I've saw this a bazillion times. I mean, I went out of my. We talked about how much I don't like Batman and Robin. I went out of my way to get the 2-disc special editions DVDs of the first 3, just because I didn't want to buy the Batman anthology set that had Batman and Robin because I was so like, that was a cat style hiss.
Oh, here he goes.
This was in the trailer too.
So why is the smarter he gets, the more like
Crazy and weird and
his
like
costumes
crazy is
get?
I don't know. No more tricks, Edward. Let's get real. He's
Yeah,
about to say.
what's with the leotards though? Like, why does he like the leotards so much? I mean, I guess he can move around in them, but he
It's
doesn't.
comic book accurate, I guess, to the Riddler sometimes.
I don't know. Which one do you like better?
What do you mean of his outfits?
Yeah.
Oh, the green situation, the green leotard, like
You like the all glittery
the
sequin?
the suit that he wears when he comes in. He's like, is everybody paying attention? That scene with Two-Face's lair. That's my favorite. That might be my favorite scene in the movie. Basically, all the scenes with Jim Carrey by himself are my favorite scenes in the movie. Sexual fantasies and little white lies.
Yeah. Well, the bait codes. Are
Into
pretty
my
helpful.
head they'll go. Well, the sexual fantasies are probably kind of entertaining too. And he burps here, and then a God am I, for some reason.
I don't know. I
Why do
feel
you
like-
need to burp that? Or whatever.
like
Is he
there's a-
burping or is he just got a really deep voice for some reason? And this is Jim Carrey's career in a nutshell. Was that over the top? I can never tell. Not in this movie, because it's all
Do
over
you
the
think as
top.
a costume designer,
What about it?
he's a freak? Yeah.
Oh, by the way, my family, we used to quote this movie a lot, and my dad used to quote the, I've seen your mind, freak, like all the time back in the day. We used to quote this movie a lot. Like I said, this was like a big favorite in the Yaniz household. There's your girl.
There's my girl.
Not
Yeah,
Debbie
I think she's
Mazar.
had
It's
like
Drew
3
Barrymore.
lines or something.
I know,
That's
but like I
okay.
said, if she was starting from square one, like Robert Downey Jr. before
This is a big
Iron
movie
Man,
to be in.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
I mean, I feel like I'd rather her be this character than the Debbie Mazur's character.
oh well, yeah. She's like, I've already been that character.
I know, right?
It was in that dark place already. I don't need to be back there. Let me be nice again.
Yeah, who's he gonna save? I would save Chase Meridian.
Kind of. The other one's a whiny asshole.
He just said Fat Man.
Fat Man.
That's your boy.
Oh, Kevin Smith, Fat Man Beyond, yeah. Bare naked with a girl.
Got Tommy Lee Jones' face.
Tommy
in
Lee Jones like, I don't want to be in this
are
movie.
Silly.
Well, he was in The Client that Joel Schumacher directed before this, like the year before this or whatever.
And the year before this was also The Fugitive.
You know
Oh,
what
no,
else
that
we
was
haven't
92,
seen?
wasn't it?
What did we talk about on this podcast that we haven't seen? Once Bitten, Mad Love. There's a few things we've talked.
No, was The Fugitive
93.
93.
So he's already got his Oscar at this point. Tommy Lee Jones won an Oscar for that. Do you remember?
I
Isn't
do
that weird?
remember. Yeah.
Isn't that weird for that movie? He
Yeah.
won an Oscar, but whatever. Not that it's a bad, it's a great performance, but still, it's just weird that that's not the kind of Oscar movie you'd think. I forgot what I was going to say. The number 23. I've never seen that. I feel like that's Joel Schumacher and Jim Carrey. Also.
Oh, okay.
So we should watch that too at some point.
Well, here we go.
Really? Uh-oh. I like all this shit. It's good. Look at this. Tell me. He's like completely up his own ass at this point.
Jim Carrey?
No, the Riddler
Oh, okay.
is like so full of himself that he's just like, for me, really. He's got a throne. He's got like a crazy situation going on with the hair and look at this.
And the Two-Face just basically checks out like the last half of the movie.
Yeah,
He barely
Two-Face
talks.
is not even a Two-Face. That's what's weird about this
He's always
movie.
being a sidekick.
And I think that's a lot of what people worry about with multiple villains. Either you're going to have multiple villains vying for the spotlight simultaneously and therefore none of them really working, or you're going to have one that's going to be the mastermind and the other one that's just the muscle. Like in this movie, it makes more sense Riddler is the mastermind and Two-Face is the muscle. And in Batman and Robin, Poison Ivy kind of turns out to be the mastermind, and Mr. Freeze is like, hey, I'm going to pump you up.
Oh, here goes his face.
I know this is weird. Bummer. There's in that movie, Mr. Freeze is an interesting character, but has nothing to do other than I'm going to punch this thing pretty much. And like I have one of the bad guys, one of the villains supplies the henchman and the other one supplies the strategy basically. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, you kind of do both characters, well, at least one of the characters a disservice in that situation.
That could be
That's
CG.
really bad green screen.
Oh, yeah.
That scene of them like falling down a thing is really bad. Like green screen, it like looks like that too. All of this is kind of crappy green screen, but it's like, whatever. It's what you had to work with in the 90s. CG was still sort of in its infancy. By the way, how much time / effort did it take for Riddler to design this whole like castle island business with the like question marks down
There's
the
only
carved
four
into
of
the
them
metal on the
doing
side?
stuff? The two ladies.
I mean, he
and-
must have hired other people. They've been
I
like,
guess so.
again,
Oh,
we're getting
the
into
Two-Face
nitty gritty
henchman.
of this that the movie doesn't care for, but he built a whole island like kingdom situation.
And like not with sand, but with metal.
Yeah,
That's holy.
right, exactly. Holy rusted metal, Batman. Yeah.
It's nice.
Oh,
Her
here he
hair-
goes.
her
Here
hair
goes the
looks
dude.
great.
I kind of thought this part already happened. I forgot about that. That's right. He just captured them. For some reason, when I walked away to go to the bathroom, I was like, oh, there goes Two-Face, but I forgot about this part. So this means, as you may remember, he's playing on his obsession with the coin and his duality. But this also means that Bruce Wayne carries a handful of, it's kind of, again, like the 40-year-old virgin. Like there's a thing in there with the magic trick where he's like, yeah, but that means you carry like a giant ear around in your pocket. It's like, yeah, like I will half the time. That means Bruce Wayne just walks around with like a handful of coins that look like Two-Faces in his pocket just at all times, hoping one day I'm going to trick him into falling from a very high place. And it raises the question, did Batman just kill that dude?
Yes.
Batman killed him, or it's a gray area because historically people don't like when Batman kills people. He kind of did, but then
Why
Tommy
did they
Lee.
not mind it for all the other movies? Like, just.
Well,
other-
that's Batman
Rambo
and a lot of the
or-
camp. Well, because Batman's whole thing in the comic books is, I'm not gonna be like those guys. I have a rule. And I'm like, I don't kill
Oh my
or whatever.
God, his-
Yeah, he looks all
the
jacked
makeup
up.
there.
So what's happened to him here? In your mind, what happened here? One, first of all, did he kill Harvey Dent, or did Harvey Dent kind of kill himself in a way? I feel like it's a gray area. You can kind of go both ways. Secondly, why is Riddler look all fucked up?
Because he had,
All the brainwaves sucked away from him, so now he's like a little
guess
wrinkled
so.
old man.
I
I'm
guess.
both Bruce Wayne and Batman.
But now he's telling
Not
it to a
because I
crazy
have to
person.
be, because I choose to be.
No, I feel like he has to be. Because oh gosh.
Yeah, I know. I remember that. It haunts my dreams.
He looks like an earthworm.
What? Why does he look like that? Explain it to me. I like that he
So
has
why
the
does
image.
he now get the bat?
He's crazy. He's really lost. Oh, Arkham Asylum. First time we see Arkham Asylum in these movies, which is insane. That it takes 3 movies for them to be like, by the way, you know that place all the villains go? Might as well include that in the movie. This is Rene Auberjonois. I don't know how to say his name. The guy who was in a million things, including Boston Legal and Star Trek, playing Dr. Burton with the most Tim Burton-esque hairstyle I've ever seen.
I forgot. I know we just watched the movie, but did she know that she's Batman? Bruce Wayne's Batman?
Yeah, she kissed him and was like, hey, wait a minute. You
Okay,
kissed like
okay,
Batman.
okay.
Remember, I had a question for you
Right.
about it.
Okay. Well, she couldn't like confront him.
No, she didn't get a chance. They got kidnapped and shit.
No. And it's supposed to be the
The-
gray walls, but not what.
The padded walls in Arkham Asylum. How could I forget? He's like, we had that very bizarre dance. Dr. Burton, which again, like I said, you know who Batman is. Kinda. And can you tell if you don't say please? She's like, I have to make sure if you're a whack job, are you going to rat out my boyfriend? See, now his face doesn't look all bizarre. So what the hell happened to his face in that one scene?
No.
Why did they do that? I'm going to have to listen to the commentary,
Maybe,
which I'm
like-
sure I've listened to again.
Your own commentary?
No. Not this one. The R.I.P. Joel Schumacher.
God, poor Gotham. There's like no,
Light?
yeah, there's no life at all. It's just.
Oh, I said
darkness.
light, but life, yeah, definitely life.
So red and black, that's her thing.
Your
Oh,
secret is
there you
safe. He definitely is a wacko.
So it's too bad
It's
that she
offensive,
couldn't.
kinda.
That's the other thing in Batman and Robin that I thought he was going to be with her, and then he ends up being.
They ain't
with
got time
Ellen
for that
McPherson,
shit.
Who had nothing to do with anything.
Oh, Julie Madison, who's in the comics, but is also boring as hell in that movie. She's literally got nothing to do except be like, she's standing next. She has a conversation with Bruce in that George Clooney Bruce in that movie, being like, oh, we should get married. And he's like, I don't know about that. And she's like, I know you've had your wild nights. He's like, yeah, but you don't know I've been Batman. Is the implication. I
feel like this is his match.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for Bruce Wayne, best match for Bruce Wayne. Catwoman is too volatile, but just as much as he is, if not worse.
Like a different thing on the other side.
See, I love this shot.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
Now, see, if you're starting the first movie with him being like mysterious billionaire Bruce Wayne, he's a weirdo. We don't know what's going on with him. Blah,
Funny
blah,
they
blah.
don't run into
And
each
now he's
other.
got a
Looks like
partner.
they're going to.
They're running towards the Batmobile, towards whatever.
Yeah. And then the third, and then the Batman and Robin.
Ends the exact
third
same way with the three of them, even though I know you love Alicia Silverstone. I love her in Clueless as well. She's not very good as Batgirl.
No,
but I also think Batgirl is not very well written in that movie. I think that movie is not, again, like we said, I think it's not even a fun mess. I think it's just a mess, and it's just all over the place. Okay, so Batman Forever. Well, John Favreau is the assistant. I forgot that. I didn't even see him in here. Okay. John Favreau was the assistant.
I didn't see him either.
Yeah, I didn't either. That was very fast.
He was barely getting his start in the business.
So, this movie, Batman Forever. Overall thoughts as we're winding down, looking at the stunt people. Not as many stunt people as I would think.
Diamond, cool name.
Shine bright like that.
I mean, I still like it.
Right?
Project consultant, Bob Kane.
But it's also like if people are like, this is garbage, you'd be like, I mean, I get it. I understand if it's not your kind of Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's entirely.
But we grew up with it.
It's wrong.
Well, no, but we grew up with it. That's what we have if you didn't grow up with this and this came out now, you'd be like, the fuck is this? Right?
Yeah, I know.
Because it's goofy as hell. But in a way that is more palatable for at least the people on this podcast than Batman and Robin, which is goofy as hell, but not in a fun way, in an annoying way. So we will not be doing a Batman and Robin episode anytime soon, is my point. I won't make... This sounds like Freddy with The Matrix, being like, I will not talk about those sequels. Guys, like, I will not do Batman and Robin. You can go fuck yourself. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I've had enough.
It's a little intense.
That. As we watched it, I think didn't we just basically do a Batman marathon?
Did we?
That's when I watched Batman Returns.
Not in the same time. I feel like we watched one and then
the other, and then we saw Batman and Robin. I'm like, this is so bad.
You only saw it the one time before that, like in theaters?
I think so.
Yeah, and you were like, wow, this sucks. And I was like, yeah, I know, but
I don't like
we
to
haven't
torture
seen it,
myself
so.
more than once.
Unless it's The Room, and then it's not torture, it's bliss.
Ugh.
So, as people know, because of the released schedule, Can't Hardly Wait commentary, which we already recorded, will be dropping in the beginning of August. Do you want to call any shots for what commentary you want to do after that? Because I like doing these with you every couple months. It's fun.
I don't know.
Because we did Cats, which was in April, and then we had our accidental but then purposeful hiatus, which worked out well because otherwise they would have had a commentary like soon after, probably with Can't Hardly Wait. Do you have any idea what you want to talk about
For commentary? No,
Yeah.
I don't. I have to think about it.
Okay, I think we've discovered with the Can't Hardly Wait commentary, which as people will listen to, feels like it's way more weighted towards Kai, and Rob's just kind of like, what the hell is this? What are we watching? This is not that interesting. I got nothing interesting to say about it. And I think we've discovered that it's very important, the selection of film that we talk about for the commentary. So we'll have to discuss amongst ourselves. But it will not be Batman and Robin. I don't think we'll be covering Batman or Batman Returns anytime soon. And if we do, it will be probably a regular episode, just because now I feel like if Keaton joins them, that's going to be part of the DCEU, so we might have to cover it as just kind of DCEU stuff. And we have like maybe less than a minute of this left. Kai, any final thoughts as the credits are ending?
One of my favorite songs from this
Kiss from a
movie.
Rose from On the Go?
No.
Hold Me Through Me, Kill Me, Kiss Me,
Yeah. And I like the end where they're like, it all heightens up. I listen to that song a lot. That's a fun song.
Did you have the soundtrack to this?
I didn't. I recorded it from the
radio? Back in the day when I have cassettes were
I loved
upstairs
doing
probably
that.
still.
It was fun. And I did the same thing with CDs. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, we are. We are getting off topic. So, Batman Forever, fun movie. Go watch it. 25th anniversary. Now something that is going to be stricken from the canon if Keaton comes to the DCEU. It sounds like this will have never happened, which again, I wish they would kind of tie this movie in. And R.I.P. Joel Schumacher. Watch this, but also watch a lot of his other movies. He's got, as Kai mentioned, he had such a broad range of films that he directed over the course of his however many decades, at least since the 80s.
Yeah, definitely since the 80s. Well, I think Say Almost Fire was
81, 82,
No,
early
like 86.
86. Okay, or mid 80s then. I never saw that until writing group, I think, with our
No, I
friends.
showed it to you.
You showed it to me?
I showed it to
And I was
you.
like, this sucks. And you're like, right? And I'm like, yeah.
I
I don't like that. I don't know. Some movies in the
Rob
80s.
doesn't like movies about friendship.
No.
That's what we're realizing here.
No. So what was the other one?
Can hardly wait. That's fine.
Oh, I didn't grow up with that. I didn't see that until you showed it to me
Yeah,
either.
anyway.
No. I think the point here is, and this is fitting for this movie, some movies you will feel close to because you grew up with them, and then if you watch them as an adult, if you watch them as an adult for the first time, you'd be like, this is a bunch of bullshit. What is this crap? And I think if we had watched this now, this would have been that movie. And weirdly, the next commentary that people will hear, Can't Hardly Wait, also, I feel like, because I saw it as an adult, I was like, what? This is fine. I don't know. And you're like, oh, this part with this person. I'm like, I don't know. Sure, I guess. Mm-hmm. So this is one that happens to coincide with both. So, Kai, before you go, can you tell people where they can find you on social media?
Well, I don't really go on very much, but
No,
you can
what's up
find
with that?
me at the Vault Key LLC on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram at KELAN373. Of course, you can find me on Facebook. And I also have a website called bebold-bebrave.com. That's not really...
Your YouTube
functional
channel you
right
haven't
now.
updated in a while?
I have a YouTube channel. I haven't updated.
What's up with your Silver Linings podcast or something podcasting?
Oh, that was a pilot.
That was one episode that you're not committing to anymore.
Yeah,
That's upsetting.
because I don't have a lot of silver linings other than stuff with COVID.
Aw, that's true.
And I don't want to, yeah. So that's where you can find me.
Cool. Well, this has been the Crooked Commentary on Batman Forever. As we said, we have a whole lineup of things that have been announced from June 30th to, I think, August 7th or whatever, early August 2nd, something, early August. It was when the Can't Hardly Wait episode drops. So keep an eye out for that. We've got a lot of all over the place as far as like movies from the 40s, Ball of Fire, and The Quiet Man, movies like Jojo Rabbit, and as I said, Can't Hardly Wait. A lot of other good stuff coming up. So stay tuned for more from the Crooked Table podcast. I've been Rob.
And I'm Kai.
And thanks for listening. Catch you next time. Forever.
This has been a production of crookedtable.com. All rights reserved.
CROOKED.